BBC2, Jason Mohammed.
And so, after 12 days of fiercely competitive action across two tables, snooker's spiritual home at the Crucible Theatre is transformed overnight as the spotlight falls centrally on this intimate arena and the men who will grace the stage for the final acts of this classic sporting drama. Good afternoon, the Crucible Theatre. It means so much to so many people. And over the next few days, 4 men will step out into this wonderful venue, one of the world's great sporting venues, to land snooker's biggest prize.
Are you ready for this?
The stage is set in this beautiful arena. Kyron Wilson makes his first Crucible semi-final, but what a tough opponent. John Higgins, 4-time world champion, last year's beaten finalist. That's our match this afternoon here on BBC2. And then tonight, Barry Hawkins, 2013 runner-up, taking on Mark Williams. Twice, the Welshman has been the king of the Crucible. Hawkins, interestingly, never beaten Williams in 5 matches. What a place, what an occasion to change all that. Someone who knows what it's like to step out on that final day and win this wonderful trophy is Ken Doherty. Ken, a very good afternoon to you. This arena, it's wonderful, full house here tonight, one table set up. What difference does this make, Ken?
Well, all the focus is on you know, at one table, fantastic atmosphere as well, and this is what they're all playing for, this beautiful trophy. They'll be very, very nervous. I was in the practice room, they were very, very quiet. You could feel the bit of tension. They just want to get out here and start playing. But it's such a tough match to call. Both players are in great form. John Higgins came through that really tough match against Judd Trump. It depends how much that is taken out of John Higgins. That will be the question for this first session, because it was a tough match and then he's got to come back this afternoon. Kyron Wilson breezed through against Mark Allen, and he's a man in form as well. It's like the old bull and the young bull, isn't it? And Kyron Wilson is the man maybe to step up to the next level and maybe possibly win this. But 4-time champion John Higgins, how could you discount him?
Our colleague Peter Ebdon, who has also lifted this wonderful trophy, yesterday said on television that he thought that Kyron Wilson could win this championship.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He has the talent, he has the game, and most importantly, he has the temperament and the confidence. He's a very confident young man, and he's played magnificently to get to the semi-finals. But he's up against the old master, man full of experience. He's lifted the trophy 4 times. There's less pressure on John Higgins, really, more pressure on the younger player. So that's another great question and what remains to be seen. So it's a fascinating encounter. And
backstage, we're hearing an awful lot about that. How will John Higgins respond after stomping around this table yesterday evening and finishing off Judd Trump? How will he respond? But he's experienced. He knows what this occasion is all about.
Very, very experienced, but it does take a lot out of you. And, you know, we're here in the semi-finals. They've already played 8 sessions of snooker to get here. To lift this wonderful trophy, they've got to play another 8 sessions. Did he get a good night's sleep? I'd say he was still buzzing. He might not have slept too much last night, John Higgins, because we were all buzzing just watching that match. It was a fantastic match and a great way to finish. So I'm sure he'll be up for it. He's been here. He's the course and distance winner. And if any man can, John certainly can. That's for
John gave a very emotional interview yesterday evening. In fact, let's hear from both players.
It's been a little personal goal of mine. I've had 2 quarterfinals the last 2 years, so obviously this time around I've made my 3rd consecutive, and I just wanted to get past that little barrier. So Yeah, to reach the semi-finals and have the one table setup is a dream come true.
I can't believe I'm back to that one table setup. It just changes, the whole auditorium changes when you walk in there and it's just the one table and it's so fast. But you can't explain it.
I think it's just keep doing what I'm doing. I feel like I'm approaching each match, each tournament in the right way. I have a fantastic team around me. You know, I like to keep myself quite fit, eat the right foods, and you know, if you're not giving yourself every extra little 5% that you could potentially have to lift this title, then you're not going to play to the full potential that you could do.
I've every respect for Kyron, what he's done in the game. Probably maybe a bit like myself. Now he's like a working man's player, but he puts so much effort and work and he's learning every time. He's full of confidence and big match for him, first time in the one table setup. So hopefully I can go out there and maybe use my experience a little bit, but at the end of the day you can't stop guys potting balls and he pots balls for fun.
He's been a boyhood hero of mine, and you know, I felt like we were a little bit rubbed last year with the match that we had in the quarterfinals with all the tip issues, so we'll love the chance again. You know, it can get a bit boring, these 40+ winners all the time, and you know, they've been there and done it before, so it'd be nice for them to move over and give us a chance.
20-year anniversary now after winning it in '98, so I keep on saying I'm just proud that I'm still in the fighting now with the best players.
I'm a big dreamer. You know, I've not played this game to make up the numbers and, you know, earn a good living. I've played this game to win these sort of tournaments, and if I keep knocking on the door, then that door will knock down.
He's so impressive in the interview room, isn't he? Well, a monumental match, as Ken was saying last night, saw John Higgins beat Judd Trump in a final frame decider. Now, somehow, he has to get ready and focus on today's match against Kyron, who John beat in the quarterfinals here at the Crucible last year, and it's one each in the head-to-head matches.
So in the commentary box with the boys for this afternoon's commentary, and John, there's much made about it going down to the one table situation. 3 of the boys in the semi-final have done that, but for Kyron Wilson, this is new ground.
It is new ground. I suppose his run in the Masters will stand him in good stead because it's big, but there's nothing like the Crucible Theatre, and it's the occasion, it's the World Championship, and that's what he's got to cope with. But so far, he's got through stress-free, and as we would say in racing terms, he's an improver. He just seems to get better every time I watch him.
Well, he's also got stronger in this event, hasn't he? He hasn't been really tested.
No, and he had a bit of a scare in his second round match when his tip was broke. But he's put that behind him. Had a marvellous win against Mark Allen. I know they always say Mark Allen was under par, but you can only beat what's put in front of you. And as I say, he just seems to be improving every time I see him.
Now, as for John Higgins, he's come through an absolute cracker last night, but he showed all his experience there, Alan.
I've still got chills, quite honestly, from the last frame. The brown that he potted, the second shot of that final frame, as I say, gave me chills. Those moments are only reserved for the very greatest players in our game, and John is one of them. He did it again. It was incredible.
Now, this is a big session for me because obviously you've got the euphoria of getting through last night in a very tough match, and sometimes after the Lord Mayor's show, the next session's not quite the same. So I think if he gets out of this level today, I think that'll be a good result for John. Yes, I actually had a chat with John earlier, and he didn't sleep all that well last night. He'll be fine today, by the way, but I think that the good thing is he's just got one session today, so if he can get through this unscathed, he'll be fine. OK, boys, it's fascinating. We're going to enjoy it. Rob Walker, it's all yours.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's that famous one-table setup, which means, at last, after 12 scintillating days of action, it's semi-final time at the Betfred World Snooker Championship. What a match in prospect, and what an atmosphere here in Sheffield. Please welcome a young player fulfilling one of his boyhood dreams today, walking out in the one-table setup for the very first time in his career. But of course, he's still 2 wins away from his ultimate ambition. Here after that superb victory over Mark Allen in the quarterfinals, What a moment this is for the warrior, Kyron Wilson. His opponent, one of the finest sportsmen Scotland has ever produced. He showed all his class from 7-3 down against Judd Trump yesterday in one of the classic Crucible quarterfinals. 20 years after he first appeared in a semi-final, he's still going strong. He's the Wizard of Wishaw. He's John Higgins.
Terrific reception for both players. So let's enjoy this in the company of John Virgo and Alan McManus.
Thank you, Jason. And, well, it's always a great occasion, the semi-final, the World Championship.
The first frame.
Down to the one
John
table.
Higgins to break.
And all eyes on these two players. And it's John Higgins who's going to get this first frame underway. Best of 33 frames now, remember. First to 17, played over 4 sessions. And John Higgins, well, it'd be interesting to see, and I agree with what John Parrott asked you, Alan, about what last night took out of him.
Yes, John. Incredible occasion. And yeah, that question has to be answered. To say, I had a chat with him earlier, he slept a little uneasy last night, but that's to be expected. You come through such a tough match, and not just the physical side of it, the mental side of it would have been so draining on John. But he's been there and seen it all before, obviously.
Yeah, a little bit worrying, but it is the first frame of the semi-final. But Kyron was quite a way out with that long pot, and that's usually one of his strengths. There you see the tournament pot success. We always say it's got to be 90% or above to get it done here, and John Higgins just slightly ahead with that. Long pot success, I always say about 2/3 for what you go for, because a lot of them are played as shots for nothing, the long pots. And the safety, just below what's required. But another chance now for Kyron here. Struck that better, but concentrated so much on the pot. That's why he's finished up in the cluster. To avoid that, you'd have had to play a little bit aside, and probably early doors, Alan, didn't fancy it.
Yeah, and especially on a brand new cloth, which this is. It just slipped off the cushion. Actually a feature of probably the first couple of frames, first 2 or 3 frames, a feature of, you watch the boys when they play a safety shot, you want to give it an extra ounce or 2 more, because you get a soft bounce off this black cushion. No threat of going in and out of bulk on those. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Foul and a miss. Kyron Wilson 1, John Higgins 7.
Yeah, normally not the colour you would nominate, and no hesitation from John having it put back. But it's hard to see any other colour he can try to hit here. And there's not all of the black to go for.
Black ball.
Oh, he's played it well this time. Good shot. Nice touch. Yeah, we had a glimpse of the high breaks that both players had made, and that 1-4-6 from John Higgins was something special. Okay, one short of the maximum, but it was as good a break as I've seen here. It ranks in my top 10, no doubt about that. And the other thing which is nice for us and for you watching at home is that we get every angle covered now. We've not got the two-table situation. So any aspiring players can see everything that a player's thinking about and how he strikes the ball. Good line if it just misses the brown, but he didn't. So leaving John Higgins with his hand on the baulk line. Could be tempted by this red. Well, he's not. So I would think his game plan at the moment is just to keep things tight and just get your cue arm going. And this is a good line. Excellent line. Well, refused the long pot and played an excellent safety and has put Kyren in a bit of trouble here. That's the player's view. Nothing to hit directly.
Yeah, just a word on the head-to-heads actually. It's quite interesting, albeit chiefly for the lack of them. They've only played twice, it's 1-1. But John Higgins did beat Kyren here last year in the Crucible. In the quarter-finals, he beat him 13-6. Did John.
Just trying to nestle on this red. Is he going to run past it? He is. Now what's he left?
And a miss. John Higgins 4.
Well, missed call, but I'm sure there's a red will go to the right middle. So first good chance falls to John Higgins. Yeah, in relation to that quarter-final match last year, I think Kyren won't put much store in that because, of course, his tip came off, didn't it? And he had to change his tips halfway through the match, which is never the best thing to have to do.
Yes, I remember that. John actually had tip problems going into the final. Changing his tip, which you wouldn't want, but yeah. The one thing you'd say about the difference between now and 12 months ago, Kyren Wilson is a totally different prospect.
Just having a look there, when John Higgins pots the next red, he'll have potted in the tournament 1,000 balls. Well, there it is, 1,000 balls potted in the tournament. That's worked out
13.
Quite nicely. 73 the target, which equates to another 49 points from this position to get to Snooker's required.
14. $20. 21.
Actually, sometimes in these situations, this will sound strange, but it's not that bad a thing that the black's tied up. Just forcing them to pick off the pink, and, well, pink and blue, but if he can develop this a little further, this contribution, that red further along the line does help him being tied up. Early days, I know. That's a clever shot. Played for the red to corner, knowing if he underhit it, he's on the other one.
26.
Yeah, the way these tables have played in the tournament so far, these are the tricky ones, amazingly enough, in these middle pockets. Got to be accurate. Yeah, but no problem. I know it looks easy, but we've seen so many missed. And he gave it so much care and attention. He's wrong side of the blue. The brown not being on its spot helps coming in and out of balk. Little grimace on
32.
John's face there. He's got the red that's just separated from that cluster to the left of the pink, but he's got a little bit of work to do with the cue ball. That's why he's choosing the other one. He feels he's got a free run off this to go back up for the blue, or a balk colour if he wants to cue it firmly.
33.
Twixt in between.
Yeah, if he's playing the little screw cannon, he just doesn't want to find the gap. And he's found the gap.
$38.
Yeah, just a touch too much backspin. But you could try it all day long and not find that gap, in all honesty.
It's not very often John Higgins plays well, a bit wrong shot, but I thought playing on this loose red that he's playing here, I thought that was the percentage. He could have just drifted down the right half of the table and been on that red, but a decent contribution in control of this first frame. And this is where it's going to be difficult for Kyron Wilson to eke out a chance in this type of situation. He's improving all the time in all departments, but he faces the master in this semi-final. He's trying to push these reds into open play.
Problem is with the brown not being on his spot, he's not got a lot to hide behind, but the green may have come to his rescue. That's pretty good now.
John's actually looking at a shot to nothing. The red above and to the left of the black. Yeah, he's having a look at it now. He doesn't want to, if he misses the pot, he can't afford to miss this thin. If he missed it thin, he'd cannon the black, and that's the last thing he wants with a 48-point lead.
Oh, wonderful shot. Could do without the kiss on the green. No, it was full enough to leave him on the brown. What a wonderful pot that was. And particularly as I think he played it with just a trace of right-hand side. So the cue ball will get back to the balk end.
John Higgins 1.
Didn't see that one coming. Amazing. Concentrating so much on the pace of the cue ball. Bad miss. Could be costly.
Sure. 1.
Big problem that Kyron is going to have sooner rather than later is the fact that the black's side up and also the red that's to the left of it. If he's any thoughts of winning the frame, he needs to sort out that little problem. And that's what he tried to do there. He tried to cannon into the black and that
6.
red. He'll be disappointed he didn't get the cannon. Only missed it by a fraction, but by attempting that, he's run out of position. So that Miss Brown looks to have only cost John Higgins 6 points.
Karen Wilson, 6.
John Higgins, 43 ahead, 75 remaining. Looking for 3 more of these remaining reds. No attempt at the pot there. He thought if he played the pot he could can into that red and the black, but he just caught the green, which has left Karen with his hand on the table, and this pot on to the right corner.
Yeah, if ever you've seen a couple of shots in a row that are scoreboard shots, it's the one that John just played and this one from Kyron. The lead that John has dictated that he couldn't risk it, but Kyron has to. And he's playing the cannon on the black and red, I believe. And he's got it. How's his cue ball? Oh, not good. Not good, but at least he's sprung the black into play. Very unfortunate to land there, but a great pot. That'll settle him down.
Yeah, well, that is unlucky. On a good day, you hit the pink full in the face and leave it on. When he's underhit this badly.
Karen Wilson, 1.
That cue ball should have been tight against the baulk cushion. This red will cut to the right middle, and that's probably the choice, because it doesn't pass the blue into the corner. The red that's closest to the cue ball. If he pots this in, could and should be the frame winner.
Yeah, he's playing a shot to nothing, actually, hedging his bets here, John. Oh, and he's got it.
Yeah, didn't play the cut. And that kiss on the yellow.
Yeah, that was super clever, because the red that he did play, he was probably the same chance of potting it as the one top side of the blue spot, but it was a clever shot in 2 fronts.
4.
A, he can get the pot. B, if he misses it, he gets it safe. And if he gets the pot in a nice kiss, which he got, it's a chance to win this opening frame.
5.
So this green will put him 50 points in front with 51 remaining. So just the red needed to leave Karen Wilson needing snookers.
8.
In fact, red and a colour needed.
9.
So 51 points to lead. Blue to leave Kyra needing at least 2 4-point snookers. There you see. Well, 4 snookers needed. No way back
14.
now. The only reason I said after the red the colour, because that then keeps your opponent in his seat and you're not going to mess around and
15.
have an elongated frame, which you would do if your opponent just needed a couple of snookers he'd play on, particularly first frame. But all things considered,
22.
Alan, John Higgins will be very pleased with this opening frame.
Yeah, 2 or 3 chances to get the job done in the end, but as you say, he'll be pleased that
23.
early on we always say you only really settle when you get your first frame on the board. John, be nice and settled.
Yeah, as you say, he needed a couple of chances. Must have very surprised
30.
Brown in the corner, but wasn't punished.
32.
There'll be lots of twists and turns in this match. But after the euphoria of the victory last night,
35.
this will make John feel very good.
$39.
I'm playing certain shots here, where he's playing the screw shots and just getting the feel, as Alan said, new cloth. Now we're down to the one table situation. Getting the
44.
pace, and that's the advantage of dictating this first frame. He's had a lot more table time than Kyron.
50.
So started off with a break of 38. And finishes it with a delightful break of 57. John Higgins takes the first frame. He leaves Kyron Wilson 1-0.
So welcome to our new home, our studio now here in the Crucible at the heart of the action. We've moved from the Winter Garden. Good afternoon to Ken and to John. No sign of fatigue whatsoever from John Higgins.
No, he'd be delighted by that. He did miss a brown in there, which we didn't expect him to miss, but a couple of fantastic shots and offings right in the middle of the pocket, which were excellent. But there's one shot here, Jason, which myself and Ken were looking at. And go on, Ken.
Well, it was just an observation, and I know Curran is an aggressive player, and he wants to get that black open straight away. But I just thought maybe, even if he hits the black there, he's not guaranteed to be on the red to the right corner. So there was 3 or 4 reds, loose reds around the pink. Get your arm going, because it's the first frame. Build up a little lead, get back into the frame, and then think about maybe bringing the black into play, maybe from the red or something like that. I just thought it was the wrong choice, ran out of position, and of course handed the initiative back to John Higgins.
He was very unlucky later. I mean, he put an absolutely screaming red, didn't he? Flicked the other red out and ended up sticking on the pink. So he's been unlucky there. But for that instance, just starting the semi-final off, knock a few balls and get a few points and then come to that one at the end.
Yeah, I mean, we're only nitpicking here, but there's only small margins between, winning and losing these frames. But John Higgins, as you said, looks in fine fettle. A couple of great long balls, which he's probably one of the best in the world at. Those long, that Alan said he could have played another shot, but he plays the long shot with a little bit of safety in mind, and he potted 2 marvellous shots in that frame.
Do you, John, expect Kyron to go at this and be that aggressive all afternoon?
Well, if I'd have been in his camp saying that, I'd be thinking, John had an absolute grueler of a match last night. This first session is massively, it always is anyway. We know first sessions are important, but even more so in this one, if you can just be at your best for this opening session, you may just get a nice lead.
OK, Higgins leads by 1 frame to none. Let's get back out of there.
Yes, I do agree with the boys there. The chance that Kyron had, he tried to push the black into open play early doors. Fair enough. But I think early on, I know it's hindsight, but yeah, knock a few balls in, get a feel of conditions, work your way into the frame. All about human moves out there. That's what this is about. And you know that John Higgins knows every move in the book.
Looking down the line there, he just can't get to the edge of the red on the right-hand side, as we look. He can get through to the one on the left-hand side, but he doesn't feel as though he can play safe off that. I think he thinks if he tries to play a containing safety, he could well get a double kiss. He's got to be a little bit careful here. A couple of loose reds.
It's actually a clever shot, because he knows if he leaves a red, it's a red to right middle, and the black's no good.
Kyron be open for touching ball, and it is touching ball. Paul Collier. Let's give him the touching ball. Just to explain how this semi-final will work. 4 sessions, 3 sessions of 8, and the final session of 9 make up the 33. And that will be one thing that Kyron's never done before, played a match this long. And if anyone ever asks advice, how do you play these long matches? Well, you just got to play them a session at a time. And if you can win the first couple of sessions, you're going to have a nice lead going into the second day or the third day.
Yes, he'll take nice memories, as you mentioned, his win over Mark Allen earlier, JV. He won the middle session 7-1, didn't he? And to do that against a top player at like Mark Allen, he'll still be carrying that with him. But as I half suggested in the opening frame, he's going to have to work his socks off to get any change out of John Higgins. So skilled.
We'd like to give you all the stats as we get near the end of the tournament, but this is the 500th frame of the championship 2018. And in those 500 there's been 68 century breaks. And Mark Williams has the most with 8 centuries. Poor safety there from John. Hit the ball colour full in the face. You leave it on the baulk line. 86 is the record. Think it can be beat, Alan? I thought it was last year, but they dried up when it gets a bit near the end of the tournament.
Yeah, it'd be hard pushed, wouldn't it, to get that record. That's something for everyone to keep an eye on. Now Kyron, trademark shot this for him. There you go. There you go. You cannot allow him to get his hand on the table from baulk.
Yes, and there'll be no holding back here. He's just checking the pack to make certain he's not going to knock a plant on. But that was a good pot and perfect on the blue. And if he really play it hard, because he could even knock the red away from the black. But whatever you do, don't miss the blue.
Karen Wilson 1.
Amazing. He was putting all his efforts into the cannon. Took the blue for granted. It's amazing though, Alan. Sometimes you hit the ball that hard and you just don't hit the middle of the cue ball. It just throws it offline.
Yes. The cue ball almost skidded. And this shot actually with a new cloth, John wants to check it back for blue, but the slide on the new cloth doesn't allow it. Oh, there's a good shot. The blue goes as well, that's why he played it. He played for pink and think, right, I'm going to play for pink, but hit it a touch harder. If I do that, I'm on the blue.
Yeah, if he'd have caught one of those reds, he'd have held for the pink. Wonderfully worked out.
And he doesn't really want to get the pink in the spot this early, because it does go in its spot, but it would be tied up. So he'll be working off the blue for probably the next 3 or 4 reds. There you go, a bit of side and top side of the blue. Another
7.
Misses a trick.
Well, he's just about got an angle, so he can force this off the side cushion. And as Alan said, get one of those reds that at the moment is stopping the pink when it's respotted from going in the corner or the middle.
12.
This is the offending red.
$13.
.56 points from here would get him to snookers required.
$19. $20.
Have to go up for the blue now. And as we see so many times,
26.
it's okay as long as you get the right side of the blue. If it'd been straight, we'd roll it in and play for the pink in the middle.
Sure. 27.
Well, just a fraction further than he would have liked. Because the red he'd like to get it. There's 3 reds below the pink. The right-hand side of the one, if he could have potted that, been in a position to get on that and pot it to the left corner, then he'd have released the other 2 reds. Can't play that now. Well, unless he can play a delicate little positional shot, you have to really get into the cue ball here. He's got into the cue ball, and how's the pace? Pretty good, pretty good. As I say,
32.
this potting this red brings 2 more reds into play. But he doesn't feel as though he's straight enough on it. It's all about where you think the cue ball's going to finish after you've potted the red. If you can find a clear line for the cue ball, then that's the pot you prefer. Undecided.
Yeah, he's topping this through for pink to right middle. Good shot again.
33.
Human moves. That was a gorgeous little shot.
$39.
Stephen Hendry
40.
mentioned it the other day, and I've watched John play for years and years, but it is amazing how far the tip of his cue is away from the cue ball when he's addressing, like no other player really.
Yeah, it's just a little idiosyncrasy that every player has. Players almost feathering the cue ball millimetres away there. You see it with John, probably about 1.5 inches shy of it.
Yeah, it certainly works
46.
for him. And also helps him push the cue
47.
through a bit further than most players. And you know, you see some players address the cue ball very close and then almost decelerate or quit on the shot. John can't, the way he addresses it. He's done well there. Solid stun run through. So he's looking for red
53.
colour and 1 more red to get to snooker's required.
$54.
Even that shot there, although he played for pink, you might think he's overcooked it, but it's actually a good bad shot. Because he thought, I'm definitely going to be top side of the pink. If I do that, I can be on the blue. Always thinking, always playing the correct shot. Same again there. Undercook that, I've got the red down the rail. Play it the way I want to play it, I've got the red in the open.
Because he potted the blue, he now needs this red and the colour.
$60.
Carrying half that sparkling long red early on in this frame and missing the blue. Extravagant shots can be entertaining to the untrained eye. There's a great joy to be had in the simple things, and this has been a clinic in the beautiful game. This little break by John Higgins. In goes the blue, and no heroics.
$65. John Higgins, 65.
Yes, beautiful 65 break. Taking advantage of Kyron's error. Kyron quite right to come back to the table. You never know. Worth playing on for a few shots. Try and peel off 3 blacks if he can. Black doesn't go, but certainly play for pink. He looks to John, and
Frank
the
conceded.
concession is there, so it's a great start for the 4 times world champion. He leaves the arena and he leads 2 frames to 0.
Well, this is a phenomenal start from John Higgins. Isn't it amazing, the game of snooker? Because I was here yesterday evening, and at one point it looked like John Higgins is crashing out of the World Championship, and here he is, John.
That's right, you've always got to dig in, and there's never been many players better than John at doing it. When he was, what, 7-3 down, he was 11-9 down, he looks like in parts he was being outplayed, but he just digs in, Ken.
Yeah, he does. Got a great temperament and match play sort of instincts, and we're seeing it already. And I know it's early days, but just these couple of frames, John Higgins using all of his experience. Okay, as Alan said, if he tries to check it up for the blue into the left middle, the ball is going to slide. So what does he do? He tries to find a gap right between the reds. If he hits a red, he's going to be on the pink. If he misses it, he's going to be on the blue in the middle. And very interesting to see there as well. He refused, even though he was 60-odd ahead, refused the long red, didn't want to let his opponent in, get his hand on the table. He's keeping it tight, he's keeping him long, he's keeping him in the long grass. And that blue that Karen missed as well, that's going to unnerve him.
I mean, the one thing, as I said to you, I've been saying to him, look, this session is so important. You have got to put him under the cosh. He had the tough session last night, you know, at least make it really hard for him. But he plays a great long red, and then he misses that blue off the spot, splatters the balls everywhere, and John comes to the table and goes, thanks very much. So at the moment, game plan isn't going the way.
But that's the point, though, isn't it, John? When you are taking on the 4-time world champions, at some point you've got to have the nous of knowing when to go for your shots and when not to.
Well, I mean, it's not. I mean, the blue is one he's got to go for. He's going to get the pack. You just can't miss. I mean, this is why Ken said before we're critiquing things to the nth degree, but this is the difference between the champions and someone who comes runner-up or someone who gets knocked out in the semi-final.
Kyron's made it very clear he wants to win the World Championship. Well, he's up against the master.
So John Higgins, who had the perfect start. And you know very well he's going to keep the pressure on Kyron, but Kyron's going to get opportunities, and he's got one straight away in this frame now. Thought it was too risky, i.e. tough pot and no guarantee of being on a colour, so don't blame him for that.
Yeah, simple push up and down here for John with the red. No double kiss on. Red will win the race at the cross point. Got it in the thin side. Didn't bank on catching the green. But no damage done. How does Kyron Wilson break down the John Higgins defences? It's going to be fascinating how this plays out this session.
A little bit too thin on that safety. Now is there a gap? Well, he can get to this, but he's refused similar type of shots already, and he's got a comfortable safety, and that's not a bad target behind the green and brown. Just got to miss the ball colours with this safety. Yeah, he found the gap. Kyron immediately getting down to have a look at this red to the right corner pocket, but I'm not certain he can pot it and avoid a kiss on another red. So he's found a gap between yellow and brown to play safe off one of the reds just below the pink. Good shot. Excellent.
He's unfortunate he's left the gap. Now, I was saying earlier about the soft cushions. Watch when John plays this, watch his delivery. He'll hit this a bit harder than normal with the soft cushions because he can't come in and out of bulk. He's got it a hair thick and the white's not made it to the bulk cushion, but it's still decent. Yeah, something John will be aware of early doors in these matches. Repeat, how does Kyron break John down?
Terrific pot. But such was the difficulty of the pot. I was more concerned in making a shot for nothing, and that's why he's landed close to the port cushion. Now, these always look simple, but trickling up to this brown, you've got to judge it right. A delicate touch needed. Oh, good shot. Good shot. Took a lot of nerve, that. So easy to leave it short.
Yeah, 4 cushions. Red near the black cushion, but you'd fancy John getting... No, he's looking at something else. I don't like the look of this if he's playing 2 cushions direct into reds.
Well, that's one possibility. But he's got to avoid the red that's near the cushion, and I don't know whether it'll slide off that 3rd cushion. Got to miss the blue, of course. Well, if the cue ball doesn't drop, hand up to apologise. He'd be happy with that. And even Kyron can see the funny side of it.
To be honest, though, I thought it was a good shot. I think it was a calculated gamble. He's just hoping he doesn't catch a red full ball. He's got a right result, but as I say, he didn't have much else on with the slidey cushions early on. That was a good shot. Now Kyron back to the grind. You know, he's feathering at this. Is he taking the red on the right middle? He is.
Yeah, he thought it was worth the risk, thought the only red he could leave was the one he was playing. But that red that John could get to left him the easiest of safety shots. And Kyron in trouble now. It was only 2 shots ago that he had John Higgins bang in trouble. To be tight to the top cushion. There is a red on here, You've got to play it with a bit of pace, and that's why John's looking up the table just to play a safety. He doesn't want to gift any chances to his young opponent.
It was actually a clever ploy, the last shot Kyron played, leaving John the little tempter. He ain't going to fall into those traps. Not with a 2-0 lead. Content to keep the pressure on, work the opening. Shot time just approaching 45 seconds, and no wonder he's taking his time.
Yeah, I was looking at a possibility of containing, but this ready's going to play safe off. He could well have left. He's got to hit this well. Trusted the table. And at first glance, it hasn't let him down. Just wondering about those two reds just below the pink. They're not a plant, are they?
That's actually a very good shot Kyron Wilson's just played.
No, and can't be made.
Very good shot indeed, because he knows that probably the next shot when he comes to the table, it certainly won't be as difficult as that last one.
Catching a bought colour. Not the best shot from John. Type of shot that's right on the left hand side of the table that Kyron usually takes on. He's had a look at the potting angle. He's going for it. I know when these type of shots are missed, it looks as though you've hit it too hard, but you just get the feeling sometimes that if he has a weakness, Kyron, he does overhit the ball sometimes.
Yeah, he certainly 3 or 4 years ago, he hit the ball far too hard for me. And there's still a little element of that in him. You know, but it's a dangerous game for Kyron Wilson, because you know, credit to him for going for the red. He's got to go for those shots, because in the safety exchanges, he's not going to win that many of them.
Yeah, but having said that, that's the second time in these last 2 safety shots now that John Higgins has caught a bought colour full in the face. Might not have left a pot on, but certainly makes it easy for your opponent to play a better one. Which he's failed to do. Caught that much, much too thin. Well, he needs to miss the brown this time. And that little flick. It worked out delightful. Although this would have been a tough red to the right corner, but it's covered.
Now, what Kyron's got to do here, strangely enough, is leave that red that's near the right corner. Figure of 8 safety. Just slip below the blue. Leave that red. Well, he's trying to cover it, but I'd believe in it. I'd be trying to tempt John into playing that because it was difficult to get on a colour. Interesting to see if John decides to leave Kyron that red. Now he too is playing the cue ball down the left half of the table.
Once again, catching the bought colour. This red, difficult, but when Kyron played his last safety shot, a red went to the left of the pink, so that would deter you from playing this pot unless you were desperate. But when the pink was onto the middle, it might have tempted him.
Well, he's taken one on here, and this is one of these shots he has to get close to the pot or he'll probably get a cannon. The reason probably he's playing it as well as where the brown is. Oh, stunning shot. What a shot that is. Trademark. One.
That one will make him feel a lot better, and they had 10 minutes of safety there, and he's won the battle. Can he make the most of this opportunity? It's not an easy one, obviously. The black completely out of play at the moment. Pink tied up in a fashion, so only the blue really, and when he gets the brown on the spot, the yellow and brown will be colours to play for. This will be a nice cannon. Oh, that's lovely. That's cleared the pink spot area. And as Ken said in the studio after the first frame, I think what he wants to do here is just build up a break. Not think, I've got to get that black into play immediately. Just concentrate on pink and blue. Get that cue arm going.
6.
It's John Higgins who's been having the table time. 60-40 to John Higgins. It feels like more, certainly does to Kyron when you've not got a frame on the scoreboard. And maybe that's the reason at the moment. Not got into his fluency. Kyron's a lot quicker player than 34 seconds a shot. Just that he's had a lot of thinking time to do.
Kyron Wilson, 11.
Well, he'll be disappointed with that. He'll be very disappointed with this after that cracking opening red. You can't let John Higgins off the hook. And if there's any weakness, he'll jump on it. Amazing this game, isn't it? We have a 10-minute safety battle and you think, well, whoever makes a first mistake or pots a good ball is going to win the frame, and then we get two surprising misses one after the other.
Yeah, I think it was a symptom of cold arm. Your arm can go cold out there. You've been starved of chances, especially Kyron. Even that shot there, he's just overcooked the screw shot. Should be all right. And fabulous single ball potter he is. He just has to give this extra concentration right now.
7. Eight. $13.
Well, it's tight. I think he can just get to it. Doesn't have to do anything with a cue ball, but he's got to hit this accurately. Push that cue through straight. Just squeezed it off the white jaw.
Yeah, it's the sort of shot he's superb at. He would actually have been playing that off his right-hand jaw quite deliberately. A good shot that, but he's just struggling to get this cue ball under close order. Definitely not settled.
Yep, absolutely.
Kyron Wilson, 14.
So another chance gone begging. Well, playing this red tells me the black goes to the opposite corner.
One.
Just got to be careful here. He knows he's going to be disturbing the reds. It's not one you can stun though. You can only just about get through to this. Just rolled it in and he's lost the cue ball. Is he far enough away from this red he can cut it back? I'm not certain. Well, he could cut it in. And that knuckle on the middle pocket, now that it's hit the brown and knocked the brown on, has worked out perfectly.
Yeah, fortuitous kiss in the yellow, but now the key shot. Oh, this is lovely. He's actually played on a choice of 2 or 3 reds. It was more the shot choice that was the best thing about that. Impossible the way he played it not to be decent on something. It will be back up for blue.
Yeah, if you had one criticism of John so far in this session, he's never when he's tried to get top side of the blue, he's always just had that roll a bit too far. Just makes it more difficult to control the cue ball. That's why he's thinking is the brown the better ball. The problem is with the brown cue ball travelling a lot further. So he's playing for the red that's closest to this right corner pocket. It's got a nice angle on it to run round off 2 cushions,
17.
but very missable.
chance of knocking the red in, but how does he get high enough on the black? He can't get too extravagant with his cue ball here. He's just got to play this plain ball. Cue ball probably be finishing quite close to the black, but how does he finish high enough? This isn't easy. All about the cue ball. I take that. He was always bound to land low on it, but so now he's having to forced to play a little cannon.
Yeah, he's pretty glad of the opportunity because he's still 8 points behind. He needs all these reds in play. Nicely done. So just 1 point behind now.
25.
These 5 remaining reds to clinch the third frame.
26.
And for once, perfect on the blue. Just looking for another 32 points from here, and here's 5 of them.
$31. 32.
Just give himself a little bit to do here on the first
39.
look. Got to avoid the red near the top cushion. No, we could do
40.
it comfortably. $21 points the lead. So red, black,
47.
and the awkward red along the top cushion to get to snookers required. Sounds easy enough.
48.
And the tighter the red is to the cushion, the easier it will be. There you go. Pot this red, go 30 ahead with just 27
55.
remaining. Oh, wow. Hit the top cushion.
56.
I don't think it would go in after that. Wow. John's heart would have been in his mouth. Well, Kyron's had a couple of chances this frame. Only himself to blame for losing it, which he will now. These pockets, Alan, still seem to be playing on the generous side.
Yeah, but
63.
Early days, they always slip in off a new cloth. But as was mentioned before, Kyron Wilson so far is definitely not
65.
settled. No doubt about it. Don't know whether it's early nerves or just the way it goes sometimes, but
68.
as I said before, the way John Higgins plays this game, he's not going to be feeling sorry for him, not one bit. He's not getting all that many good chances out there.
Yeah,
72.
This has been a very well executed contribution from John. And like all the greats, and John Higgins is one of them.
77.
When they get in front, they don't start looking over the shoulder. They're looking straight for that winning line. I know it's a couple of days away, but the main thing is try and win the first session. And he's got a long way to do that.
On the front.
They played 3 frames, he's won 3 frames. Kyron Wilson at the service stage. A lot to think about. John Higgins leads 3-0.
Well, I know my 2 studio guests love their football. And it's almost like as if Kyron Wilson needs a good talking to at half-time, doesn't he?
He's not settled at all. It's been a feature this tournament, right from ball one, really, that players who've played really good in one match, in occasion, have gone to the next game and then haven't played. Mark
Ding
Allen.
Junhui, a great example.
Ding Junhui, exactly an example. And Mark Allen against Joe Perry then didn't play in the next round. And at the moment, it looks like it's hit Kyron, that disease that's been flying around the Crucible, because he hasn't settled down at all. He's having chances there. And the one thing with John Higgins, we've mentioned he could be tired from last night, but he never plays the wrong shot. And he isn't going to make it easy for you. So you've got to do your stuff, and at the moment he's not doing it.
Now, Ken, how much of this is tension, how much of this is nerves?
It's both, yeah. I mean, he hasn't settled. I think that we said that blue would unnerve him, and it certainly has. He needed to settle down early in this match, you know, because this is a new experience for him. We talked about the one-table setup. This is what he dreamed about, you know, playing one of his heroes, of course, John Higgins. So there's a lot of emotions going on. So it's understandable he's going to get nervous. But what I would say is stick to your guns. Don't change your game plan. This is what's got him here. He still has to go for his shots. He's not going to compete at every level with John Higgins, so he still has to go for those shots, get himself in. But when he gets in, he has to be a little bit like that, around that pink in that first, second frame, just to get a few balls, get his arm going, get a bit of confidence, relax into the semi-final, and then play his game.
It's not easy playing John. Let's just say that. We'll put that out there. The reason he's won 4 World Championships is because he always plays the right shot and he always plays to an incredibly high standard. So your chances are limited. And I've seen players, you mentioned Ding. Ding played against Anthony McGill in the tournament this week, and Anthony McGill wasn't playing well enough to stick him under the cosh. But Barry Hawkins was.
Yeah.
And Barry Hawkins wasn't going to give him the chances that Anthony McGill gave him.
True. And also, Judd Trump can testify to that last night. I mean, looked absolutely heartbroken leaving the arena yesterday evening because he gave John a chance to get back into the game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it was interesting to see. I mean, there were question marks. How would John feel after such a grueler with that match, the way it went on? He's come out and he looks fresh as a daisy. He's doing everything right. He's putting his opponent under pressure at every single time. He's using all his experience out there.
But he's being helped.
Yeah.
That's the big thing at the moment. Allied to all that what Ken says, I agree with entirely, but he's getting help doing it as well. Because he's had a couple of chances, Kyron, and he just hasn't settled down and he's not doing his job yet.
But as Ken says, Kyron needs a bit of table time, doesn't he? He needs to get his arm going. He needs a good break. He needs to get on the board, John.
He does, Jason, but I just said, you don't get it. You know, it's this is what John does to you. He doesn't go, is a chance, is another chance, is another. You might get one. You very rarely get two. So when they come in the game, that's why it's magnified, the mistakes he's making. Because John Higgins plays the right shot to a high standard every time.
Yeah, and we must remember, this is Kyron's first Crucible semi-final, Ken.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But, you know, I think once he gets his first frame on the board, he'll settle down, he'll relax, you know, because when you're out there, you're sort of taking in everything as well, you know?
I mean, what you don't want, your first semi-final is 4-0 down the interval.
Oh, big frame
Very
coming
true.
up.
Very true. Very big frame. Back we go to John and Alan.
Yes, interesting
Thank
chat.
you, frame 4.
The fellas
Kyron
in
Wilson
the
to
studio
back.
there. Kyron Wilson badly needs to get a frame on the board. He does not want to go into the mid-session interval. 4-0 behind. I know that's obvious to say, but JP was right about playing against John Higgins. If you get one chance, you're lucky. Two, once in a blue moon. You have to punish him any time he makes a mistake, which is very infrequent.
Amazingly enough, the last frame, which was just over 28 minutes, is the longest frame that John Higgins has played in the tournament. But once again, and that should give Kyron a little bit of heart, catching a baulk colour. You can see on John's face, not happy with that. Top players do not expect to hit the baulk colours when playing safe. And these half chances, got to start knocking them in. Good pot. Didn't totally commit. I mean, he had the perfect angle to drop it in play for the black. But as we say, probably not settled yet. So making certain of the pot, but he's not happy, as you could see his expression when that cue ball finishing so close to the side cushion. Now, sometimes you can be lucky, just drop the blue in and you're going to land on a red. Is that the case here? Possibly could land on a red to the left middle. little bit twixt in between, a little bit further down the table. Even on the red to the left middle, he can still pot it, but he's got to judge the kiss off the second red for position.
Nope. No, sir.
Aaron Wilson,
What
6.
has he left? Oh, I think he's left the sitter for John. Does it go? Perhaps not in all of the pocket. Perhaps not in any of the pocket, actually. It doesn't pass. Karen Wilson will be very relieved to see John Higgins playing a safety shot. Pot success. I know it's early days, 71% Kyron. Ain't gonna work. It will improve, we know that. Highest break, only 14, and he's had a few chances. It's easy to say, isn't it? Just go out there and enjoy yourself, you know, and it's not that easy, not against this class of opponent. Aaron Wilson being frozen out in the main. As I said, and this is... If it's not bad enough, those flicking reds.
1.
All right, he's not in a colour, he's not going to score off it. But if he can nestle in behind this yellow, this could be big trouble the way the reds are. John being John, it won't be a dead weight nestle. Well,
yellow ball.
Yeah, it is actually, but it's cushion first, so he'll never be short playing this way. Oh, he's not gotten it.
John Higgins,
He'll be disappointed with that. That was a great chance. And don't think for a second it was guilt after the fluke.
It's turned out to be a decent cue ball.
Thanks, John.
Not certain if he can get to the edge of any red. He's coming off 2 cushions. Probably nestled to the red that's closest to the top cushion here. He's hitting the wrong ball here, but it's okay. Got the weight of the shot correct, if not the line. That's more like a John Higgins safety shot. Mind you, there was only one ball colour to miss, so it was made a bit easier. He's playing the container hit shot here. He's got to be careful he doesn't kiss this pink and leave a red to the middle. Well, he's making the effort to go back to balk. It's okay. I say it's only okay because the cue ball not tight to the cushion. Chance for John Higgins to play a better safety than that. But the pink is the ball you've got to avoid if you're going down the right-hand side of the table, which he is. Bit pacey. I don't know if Kyron can get through. The red that's 2 down from the blue in the middle of the table. I don't know if you can see enough of that to play the pot to the right corner. Maybe he could, but aired on the side of it and it's thin. But looking at the cue ball, he may not have even played the pot. That's why I say about long potting sometimes. We think they may have gone for him, but you always err on the side of it and it's too thin. You won't want to miss it and leave the cue ball in this half of the table. And that's turned out to be a pretty decent safety now.
Yeah, there's a premium on this. Well, he's playing this half ball thick. That's clever. Guaranteed the gap. So clever. He knew he was never really getting his opponent in any trouble, but the way he played it, it was a guaranteed good cue ball. Almost a billiard shot, actually. Those half ball shots. Complete control of the path the cue ball's taken. There's Kyron going to risk pushing a few reds into open here, or is he playing the shot to nothing? The red will go. I think they probably slipped through the gap. I think he's playing the pot.
It's not much of a gap, is there? Not much of a gap, but it doesn't matter now. The red went in. One. Dangerous.
He's having to work so hard, isn't he? I mean, he's actually knocked in a few good long balls, but he just seems to keep landing near the side cushion, can't get in a perfect position, always always working. Isn't easy either. Yeah, not easy because positionally he's not guaranteed getting out on the colour. Just off straight this red.
6.
But take your eye off the pot. Easy to do that because position isn't guaranteed. Good shot. Good shot.
7.
I love our super slow-mos when we get to the one-table situation. It's amazing now, wasn't it, how the cue ball seemed to stop and then the top spin took over. Things we didn't realise, and how much the balls bounce off the table. It's a good shot, using the extension on the rest and the cue. And it was a delicate shot and he played it perfectly. So this is a good chance, and
13.
in playing this he can just flick the right hand one of the two reds to bring them into play.
14.
Forget about the black, that's out of commission. You got the pink on its spot, you got the blue on its spot, the brown on its spot. And looking for another 48 points from here. to get his first frame on the scoreboard. It's a good chance.
$20. 21. $26. 28. $34. 35.
Just run a little bit too far. Maybe the red just above and to the left of the black may go to the left corner. Oh, but he's missed the pink, and it seems at the moment that anything
Wilson, 35.
mid-range for him is missable.
Yeah, he should never be missing this pink, but his cue ball was far too high. High on the pink was no good because he was wanted to play for a red to the right corner. Still struggling, and this could develop this chance if this red goes in. It's there.
One.
Yeah, doesn't look an awful lot on right now, but a few shots time, John Higgins could be right back in this frame. Better chance than it looks, actually. Oh, that is a poor shot. The John standards is just about still on the red. He's actually fortunate that he caught that red full in the face. These need to be given your full attention, these little cutbacks. Just having a second glance at it. You see there, John Higgins, he's got a tighter cue ball than his opponent. There's no doubt about it. It's also understanding the importance of having a tight cue ball. Of course, that sounds strange to say. Of course, Kyron understands it, but in these little situations, it makes such a difference.
Need a good positional shot here. He's not perfect on this pink. Straight would have been better. So playing the cannon. He's got the cannon, but he's going to be hampered.
14.
Played that well, purposely
15.
playing it with a pace to come in and out of balk. Didn't want to be straight on the brown though. The red by the black spot is obviously the red he'd like to be on. And played this inch perfect.
$19. $20.
Yeah, That's not ideal. Just the wrong side of straight in the black.
As you said earlier, the soft top cushion. I mean, it was asking a lot to finish low on the black. And could have played for a tricky red along the top cushion, but preferred to play for this one. And he's got a nice angle on it.
27. John Higgins, 27.
Yeah, went for the wide part of the jaw, but it was just too wide. So Kyron Wilson comes to the table, got a 13-point lead. Needs these 3 reds to clinch the frame and get on the scoreboard as he goes to the mid-session interval.
One. Eight.
Played the delicate little cannon. Actually may work in his favour, the fact that he's bridging on the other one, but he's got to pot this red first. Playing for the black in the same pocket. Not quite high enough.
Nice.
At least the bulk colours, at least 2 of them been off their spots. You'd actually half fancy him getting in and out of bulk here, back for the red.
That's the shot you'll be looking at. And the reason I've gone so deep on the baulk line, he's got to avoid the kiss on the brown. Well, he's playing it with top, so he's got to avoid the yellow. I wouldn't be playing it this way myself. Got to avoid the brown and the yellow going that way. Wouldn't have been my choice.
$16.
So he's still looking for that red, and he won't be getting it this time around. And this doesn't look, well, it may just be
Kyron Wilson, 16.
Yeah, it's okay. I thought it was going to run a little bit quicker than that. This is a big, big frame now. You saw when John Higgins, last visit, when he missed the red, how he dropped his head. He doesn't want Kyron Wilson to go into the mid-session interval with any good thoughts whatsoever. And the one thing that Kyron won't want to do is bring that green into play if he can avoid it. Might not be able to avoid it, but he'd like the green to stay there. Attempt to not run the red into the green. He didn't play the best of safety shots now. The one thing I've noticed over the years, Alan, and I know you've practiced a lot with John, he can play a double, can't he?
Oh yes, he can. I don't know if he'll be playing this one. Might well be worth it, mind you. A good call, John. He's played it. The only thing there, I was half thinking John could have played a good red down this end and maybe promoted the green with a cue ball, but the bull by the horns. I suppose the fact that he's 3-0 in front, he can take the odd risk if the reward outweighs the risk, that is, which it probably would have done had the red disappeared.
Well, more or less, this red for the frame, green making it slightly awkward cueing. Do you cut it in the middle? He's eyed up the potting angle to the top pocket. Personally, I prefer the cut into the middle. It's only the red that's needed, this to go 30 points ahead with 27 remaining. Good pot. We wanted to knock this brown in though. Well, he's not going to play it. He's going to play the snooker behind the black. Got to be careful though with John Higgins only needing one snooker.
Yeah, I don't really see the value in that. He's put the brown in a good position for a snooker. Why didn't he just feather half ball off the green? I mean, the cue ball was about 8 inches from the green. Guaranteed snooker behind it. Why he didn't play it, don't know. John gets this safe, he's still in this frame now. And he may well even get a snooker. He's not going to get a foul out of it. But as I say, the brown is in a perfect position for John Higgins. Cushion first. Try to nestle in behind black. Good effort. Not quite.
Good line. How about that length? Not quite hard enough. But Karen will soon be squirming a little bit here. As I say, one snooker needed for someone like John Higgins. And as Alan said, where that brown is. Although Karen could use that brown himself here. But didn't. You wouldn't be comfortable. I remember in the old days, Steve Davis, if you needed a couple of snookers against you, you were on edge.
Yes. Karen, not be comfortable at all just yet. Another thing is, he doesn't want to leave John a chance of potting the yellow. Oh. This is a chance. He's got the snooker. And this is not an absolute certainty to hit it. Having to go left cushion, it's possible to go round the back of it.
Yeah, normally you'd think, well, can he swerve around the right-hand side of the black as we look? But if you did that, there's a possibility you could go in off the yellow. That swerve's not on. As Alan said, he's got to come off the left-hand side of the table. There's always a danger of an in-off. Oh, well, who would have believed that? They didn't look possible.
Foul. John Higgins, 4.
I want to have a look at that again in slow motion. That's unbelievable, Alan.
Yeah, as I said, there was room round the back of it, but that was incredible. Now, main priority for John, make sure the pot, he'd love to just chip the brown out. Oh, he tried it. He tried it, but at least he's in control. Thin green here, and John being John, you half fancy him getting in behind pink and black.
25 points remaining, 24 points behind.
Not as young as he used to be.
But But he's right back in this frame. I think when Kyron Wilson potted that last red, he missed a trick. He should have, well, for me, I'd have played the pot in on the brown, and 2 snookers, wouldn't have fancied John Higgins. 1 snooker. Okay, no snooker, but he's got a good length with the cue ball. And
John
he's got
Higgins
that green very safe. There's pressure on young Kyron here. Well, that'll do nicely. And the thing is, when you're approaching a ball from the slight angle he had, he knew that if he missed it thin on the way up, he'd catch it on the way back. Now, this green will cut, but it's hard to envisage that you could pot the green and get position on the brown. Well, I'm certain John was aware that the possibility of the enough, but highly unlikely, you would have thought. Longest frame of the session so far. We've already had, well, the last frame was just over 28 minutes. This is going on for 29. Just flicking the brown. A bit thicker, he could have gone in off. There you are, in the 30th minute of this frame, and it's a very important frame. You just feel that Kyron needs to go to that dressing room at the mid-session interval with just something to show for his efforts. John Higgins, though, has the advantage in this safety exchange now. Can't get right in behind this green to kick it up the table, so not a guarantee to get this safe.
Yeah, this is actually horrible. Playing it direct, there's nothing doing. Can't avoid the black. Now, I think he's got to play this with pace, Kyron. I think he's in trouble. This is going to be trouble again, knowing John Higgins. Well, he's had a bit of a result. But there's no way John will be taking on the green, surely. Well, he could play it, but it's going to be full pace to get on the brown with lots of top and left-hand side. Oh, what's the chances of knocking this in at that pace?
Long odds against. And he's left it. He's left it. So Kyron, here's the green you want, and here's the frame, handed on a plate.
Yeah. I think the screwing behind the black's the shot there. And I'm not being wise after the event. At full pace there, you just can't pot them on these tables.
Free.
So Kyron Wilson will be so relieved. He can go back to his dressing room thinking, right, okay, I've not played my best snooker.
7.
I've missed a couple of good, decent chances. But at least he's got a frame on the board.
Wow.
A 32-minute frame, not without problems, but Kyron Wilson has prevailed in the end, and he gets his first frame on the board when they go into the mid-session interval. John Higgins leads 3 frames to 1.
A puff of the cheeks if you're Team Wilson.
Yeah, they'll be delighted. I mean, obviously, you needed to take that frame 2 behind instead of 4 behind. The interval is obviously miles better. But whilst we were praising John Higgins for his shot selection, well, I can't really agree with this one. I mean, this is a championship tournament table, and you're hitting it 100 mile an hour to try and get up the table. He's got a very simple snooker there to play, and it was a little bit un-Higgins-like, if I'm being honest. It's not really the shot you'd expect John to play. He could stick on it, leave the snooker. He works so hard to get himself back into it that I was surprised he played that.
But people watching at home, Ken, might be thinking, I just wonder whether John goes for that because he settled down so well and the balls are going for him.
Yeah, maybe. And I think the cushions are sliding on that top cushion. We saw a red earlier that hit the top cushion and still dropped in. And maybe John Higgins was thought, well, they're playing a little bit easy, these top pockets. And maybe that's why he wanted to take it on. But I'm with John. They're very, very, at that pace, if you're dropping it in, it will probably accept the ball. But when you're hitting it with that pace, trying to get back up for the brown, it was very difficult. He could have played a good snooker, kept the cue ball there, knocked the green up the table and kept the pressure on his opponent. He got back into the frame, as John said. His opponent looked very, very nervous still, but that will settle him down now, and he'd be feeling a lot better now.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, John, what does that do? Just getting on the board, it's 3-1, it could have been 4-0, and you're in the dressing room thinking, goodness me, this is a battle.
Yeah, it's a lot better, but also he's had a look. He's had at the situation here. He's gone out in the one-table situation, never done it before. The Crucible takes on a whole different persona. He's now had that opening session. It should settle down from there, and the fact that he's now got a frame on the board, he should be all right now.
OK, and if you're a Kyron Wilson fan out there, just a reminder that we are talking about someone very inexperienced when it comes to a Crucible semi-final. Kyron Wilson was 7 years old when John Higgins won his first world title.
I feel very old.
That makes us feel good.
We all do. We all do. OK, one of the great joys of coming to Sheffield and the Crucible Theatre is simply meeting the army of fans who travel the world to see snooker's top players. So it's time for us to meet another member of our snooker family.
John Airy, I've been coming since 1981 when I was a 13-year-old kid. Started coming with mum and dad and they're still coming. It's one of the highlights of the year for me. It's a great 2 weeks holiday and it's a family atmosphere because you get to meet people year after year and you make a lot of friends. And if you love snooker, it's a fantastic place to come. A very special auditorium for snooker. If you love snooker, it's just the perfect setup for it. The acoustics are perfect, you hear the click of the balls. It's very, very intimate. You're close to the players. You can see the expressions on the players' faces when they miss. This place is absolutely magical. I was 13 and the first game we saw was Mountjoy against Reading in the semi-final. And Doug had a 1-4-5 break, which was it was the record break then. It was almost unheard of. Everybody went berserk. There's a bad shot of me when Mountjoy pots the final black and I'm sort of this high and standing next to my mum and I've got a horrific haircut and wing collars down to my knees and I look dreadful, but it was a great introduction to it and it sort of got me hooked. Dennis winning. We didn't have a season ticket then. I queued up and I got the last ticket. At the time I was a passionate Dennis supporter, more because I was in the anyone but Davies camp, which is it's a shameful position to hold because he was a fantastic player and looking back I probably wish the other man had won, but I don't think that'll ever be surpassed, that final, just in terms of sheer drama and excitement.
He's done it!
Some of the Jimmy near misses, which were exciting but in a slightly sad way for me, but I was up in the box with Jimmy's dad watching when he missed that black. And we just assumed that Henry would clear up and he did because he was that good in those days. I still get a good buzz. It's probably not quite as keenly felt because I think when you're a child things seemed to matter more. And I had more favourites. I always wanted Alex to win. It was stomach churning if he lost. But just to watch the snooker, because it's the game I love. I think it's probably the most special place I've ever been to in terms of sport.
So wonderful, some incredible memories there, and he's so right. It's so special, this venue, isn't it, John?
Yeah, it's very special, and he's seen lots of great matches. He doesn't miss one. I like John, and he comes with his mum and dad, as he said, and he stays in the hotel where we stay. And we speak, you know, most mornings after breakfast we have a chat, and they're so enthusiastic. They absolutely love it. And it's like, as he said, it's like a holiday to them. They spend a heck of a lot of money. You know, if you imagine 17 days for your hotel bill for 2 rooms, and they come in, they buy the season tickets, they put a lot of money into snooker.
Yeah, it's a special venue, isn't it? John's absolutely right there, because, you know, where else can you look back at those memories and you think to yourself, I remember where I was watching Dennis, I remember watching Jimmy, I remember all those moments, and how great to see Doug Mountjoy there as well.
We all grew up watching those wonderful moments, you know, and that's what got us into snooker, either to come here and watch or to try and play the game itself, you know. It holds a lot of special memories, very special place.
Well, being Welsh, we didn't have much success in sport in the 70s and 80s, so our snooker players were our heroes, you know, when we were growing up, you know. OK, let's find out what's happening out in the Crucible, because Rob Walker is with some fans.
Yes, thanks very much, Jason. It's nice to be off the arena floor and up here on the balcony. First of all, I'm joined by Connor, who usually comes in the first round. This is as deep as you've ever been. So great excitement to come and watch the semis. You're a big Kyron Wilson fan. Massive frame.
It was nice for him to get something on board. I think he needed it. If he went in 4-0 down, he'd have been struggling, wouldn't he? But I also think John's a better chaser than he is leader, so he's still got a chance. He just needs to start knocking them long ones in.
It's a great story with Kyron, isn't it? When you think that just a few years ago he was off the tour, working for a couple of £100 a week in a bar. Now he's a dad. Yeah, I tell you what, he's a lot more mature than I was at 26.
Gives hopes at rest of us as well, doesn't it? What's still playing in pub on his Sunday afternoons. But yeah, I think it's brilliant for him to get as far as he has done. He's done us all proud anyway, but let's hope he goes one further.
Long way to go, isn't there? Long way to go. This is Jerry. Now, Jerry has had a shocker in recent years because he's been here for the last 3 years, always hoping to see Ronnie in the semi-finals.
As you do, Rob.
Not to be, but you're a big John Higgins fan, and what a story. Yet another one of the class of 92 still delivering. Great result last night as well against Judd.
Absolutely, I watched that. What a crescendo it was yesterday evening. I was literally just sat on the edge of my seat. And us old boys, we've got to stick together. I'm a 1975 birth year as well, Rob. So, you know, you've got to stick together. So all the best to John, hopefully all the way through to the final.
And a great start from John, bearing in mind, you know, we were a bit concerned that he might be tired after coming through that 13-12 against Trump. Not the case so far.
No, not at all. He was absolutely on fire. I thought Kyron looked a little bit shaky in those first couple of frames, and John was just relentless, punishing. Wouldn't you agree, Rob?
Yeah, it's going to be a brilliant climax. I hope there's more to come from Kyron. It's a really intriguing match, guys. Go and get yourselves a pint. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon off work. Nice chatting to you. Right, we'll move round here because 29 events on the Pro Tour. As if that wasn't enough snooker to be excited about, Jason Francis, who's in charge of the World Seniors, has today made some very special announcements. Yet more snooker for the old guys.
There's more snooker and more opportunities for anyone over 40, Rob. It's a really proud day for us. We're announcing the WPBSA World Seniors Tour. We've got 6 of main events on our calendar next year, 15 qualifiers globally for these guys, amateur players over 40, to win a chance to play a Stephen Hendry or a Jimmy White, and we've got £200,000 in prize money in the first season. So it's unbelievable.
And it seems as though there's a real appetite from members of the public. I guess nostalgia is a very powerful tool, isn't it? There's a desire to see these guys pick up their cues again.
Absolutely, and I think that what we are hopefully looking to create is a bit of entertainment, a bit of fierce competition, a chance for people to share some memories, a chance for people to really get involved in what we're trying to do. So we want a vehicle for the former champions, the servants of the game, but we also want that opportunity for someone to pick up a cue. They might be playing in a club now, they never got a chance to be a professional, pick up a cue, win one of our qualifiers, might get to the World Seniors Championship, and if they win that, they take their place in the World Professional Championships. So the dream is there.
I think there's another really important point here as well in terms of player welfare, isn't there? I mean, I've been lucky enough to be on the snooker circuit for 10 years, and it really does feel like an inclusive family. And in certain sports, once you've earned your money, the door closes, yeah, bye-bye, good luck. You know, what you're now setting up is a longer-term platform where former players can maintain their relationships and their friendships that they've built up within the sport. It's not just a case of, right, now you've finished being a pro, we don't want to see you anymore. It's part of the whole life journey of a player.
Absolutely, and that's a massive part, because so many of the legends of the game, when they finish playing, people may believe most of them go to punditry, and there's a lot of household names, but a lot of them fall on hard times. They've had nothing to play in. Now we've got a chance. We've got a £25,000 prize for the World Seniors Champion this year, which is fantastic. We're doing our UK Seniors Championship down the road in Hull at the new venue, £10,000 for that one, and a place in the World Professional Championship. And we've got a fantastic offer from World Snooker to be able to use the Invitational wildcard holders. So Jimmy White, Ken Doherty, James Watana, as well as Stephen Hendrick. I mean, if you're a snooker fan like me, then it's just a great night out, a bucket list to meet all your heroes.
Great stuff. Keep up the good work. Thanks very much, Jason. And back to Jason in the studio. I wonder whether the two legends sitting beside you are even more fired up about their next seniors exploits.
We shall find out. By the way, I prefer using legends as opposed to seniors. Seniors makes you sound like really old.
Thank you. You're a lovely man.
There you are.
You're a lovely man.
Legends.
Thank you.
Right. So what do you think?
I think it's fantastic. Yeah, I think you know, it's great to compete on that tour. I managed to play in a couple last year, but I also think they made a very valid point for those lads playing in the club who couldn't turn professional or weren't good enough. Now they have a chance to maybe one day, if they win a qualifier, even play out there in one of the tournaments.
Well, the lad who won the world at the other one, I didn't play in it, but I think he's a car mechanic. He's come all the way through, played snooker, and ended up going, and he ended up playing in the world qualifiers. Well done to him.
Yeah, wonderful. By the way, if you want some sort of inspiration, then do head to the BBC Sport website and look out for the Get Inspired page, and you can find out where your local snooker club is. Right then, the other wonderful thing about the Crucible, of course, is that so many sports stars love coming here. We had Manu Tuolangi from Rugby Union, and we've also got Danny Willett, US Masters champion, is in the audience today. They love it. And Seema has been to meet more sporting stars.
Well, as you well know, Sheffield has been taken over by all things snooker, and I'm in the Winter Garden about to meet 4 very special guests. Now, I would introduce you to them, but I know somebody that could do a far better job. Rob, it's over to you.
Testing their world-famous hand-eye ball coordination, 4 of Wednesday's finest. Here comes Morgan Cunning-Fox, Jacob No Butterfingers Butterfield, Joe Wild Thing Wildsmith, and finally, the huge towering presence of Cameron Dangerous Dawson.
Sheffield Wednesday goalkeeper Joe Wildsmith and Cameron Dawson, midfielder Jacob Butterfield and defender Morgan Fox took time out of their busy schedule to play a frame of snooker against each other. And just to make sure that they weren't there all day, they had former Welsh Open quarter-finalist Joel Walker as their wild card.
We had a nice black that Joe sunk it off about 4 pockets, slightly lucky, but it went in, so that was a nice little 8 points that we got, and that's got us into the lead.
Brendan Moore, who will be refereeing this year's final, was there to keep the boys in check and was hoping not to hand out any red cards.
I can't wait to start. I mean, it'll be my second final, obviously in my hometown of Sheffield. It's a great feeling, so can't wait for Sunday now.
I bet, and nothing quite compares to what we've got going on over here. Can you describe the sort of match that we've had so far?
Yeah, this is much more exciting. I'd rather this every day, referee this every day. I mean, you've got 4 of what I would consider, obviously play for the team that I support, which is a great honour itself. And considering all the talk about how many balls they're going to pot, only thing I would say is stick to football.
OK, that's good advice.
1, there we go, we've got 1.
There we go, we got there in the end. Currently, you guys are beating the goalkeepers.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
It's just normal, really.
Oh, it's normal. You're much better than them, aren't you, really?
It's fully expected when you've got Cam hitting balls, not even on his shot.
Got very tight this game.
And you were ahead then, they were ahead. And
yeah, I think they're just ahead.
They are 4 at the moment.
Oh, he's missed it. Oh, he's not left it though, I don't think. Right, I've got to go and take this.
This is your moment.
This is my moment.
Well, it went down to the wire, and after nearly 20 minutes of snooker, it was Team Outfield who took the bragging rights, winning by a single point.
6 under match, Outfield players.
I'd like a rematch. I thought we were a bit unlucky there. I think Joe decided not to hit a ball when they just needed the pink. Wasn't the best. So I'm just wondering when the transfer window's open, so I can change my partner maybe, or or if get someone else. I don't know. But no, I think the.
Any word of congratulations to the opposition,
I
though?
think, it was a long.
Got to be
frame
humble in
and,
defeat.
Yeah. The better team did win, so congratulations to them.
Good to see the lads from Wednesday. They were great fun as well, and good luck to them in their final championship game of the season against Norwich City at Hillsborough. And you can keep up to date with all the scores on the website and on BBC Radio 5 Live. Best footballer you ever played against?
Apparently Gary Lineker was absolutely mustard. And Andy Townsend's had 127 breaks.
Has he really?
He has indeed, so they can play. And Graham Sharp, when he was in this pomp at Everton, used to come every day playing the next table to me with Kevin Richardson and that wonderful team that won the now Premier League twice in the 80s. I just thought I'd mention it. It's a long time we have to go back, but you know.
And there was me. I wasn't going to mention my football club, but you did, because I was going to say all eyes on Sunday on the other team in blue, not Sheffield Wednesday. A little game in South Wales and possibly beating Everton next season. But anyway, move on.
Ronnie Whelan was the best one. Ronnie Whelan, best one I played. He liked to play.
Was he? Was he?
Yeah, very good.
Yeah. It was great to see.
I know. I had the thing one time when I was champion. Howard Kendall got fed up with Graham Sharp and Andy Gray beating everyone at pool. So he said, "I've got someone coming in to play with me today." So I got all dressed up in my bib and tuck. I went into Belfield. I went, "Oh, come on!" So me and Howard sorted them out, put them in their place.
Brilliant stuff. OK, lads, thank you very much indeed. If you're just getting in, I want a reminder of how the first Crucible semi-final is going. Let us remind you. So a first Crucible semi-final for Kyron Wilson, but John Higgins showing no sign of fatigue from last night's win over Judd Trump. 1-0 Higgins. In a frame 2 at a break of 65, Higgins made it 2-0. Kyron Wilson really struggling to find any rhythm in this match. Kyron does pot a ball in frame 3, but unfortunately another miss allows Higgins to get in, and John really piling on the pressure on the young man. Kyron just feeling the pace ever so slightly out there, and I think the Crucible crowd felt for him, manages to get a frame thanks to a break of 35. And here they come. Listen to that round of applause. Here we go. Back to the commentary box we go. Alan McManus and John Bell.
Thank you, Jason. Tales of footballers on snooker tables. Yeah, Gary Lineker used to play with Willie Thorne. My old mate Willie, the maximum man. Anyway, hopefully now Kyron Wilson's settled down into the match. 4 more frames to be played this session.
Frame 5. John Higgins to break.
Just run a little bit too far to get the yellow to cover a path to the red. But no pot on, doesn't appear. Match time just over an hour and a half for those first 4 frames. Got a bit pedestrian the last 2. Good line. There's Danny Willett. Lovely to see Danny, who of course won the Masters at Augusta a few years ago. And I always remember him taking great delight putting the green jacket on Sergio Garcia the year after.
Yes, a local lad as well. Loves a snooker. Won that Masters 2 years ago. I'd say about a couple of weeks ago was his anniversary. When, yeah, brilliant back 9, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, it really was. Took advantage of Jordan Spieth. Going in the water at the 12th. Needless to say, we like our golf, don't we? In the meantime, that was a poor safety shot from John Higgins. Now, it looked to be a pot on, but Kyron's eyeing up a plant to the left corner. And it's got to be made. It's not dead set. Played it well and tried to develop the black.
One.
But couldn't quite get the cannon right. But at least the red's gone in. And when it does, you get to play the next shot.
Well, there's no doubt about it. He'll be feeling a lot better. Having gotten his first frame on the board. High break of only 35 in the first 4 frames by Kyron. See John with a 77, but he's also had 57, 65.
Well, we won't be pleased with that. His pot success, Kyron Wilson moving up, but there's no way in the world he should have left John Higgins any chance of a pot here. That was loose.
Yeah, he's having a go at this, John. No, he's not. My mistake, sorry. I was going to push the boat out. Not sure if the black passes to right corner, but definitely playing the waiting game. John, be aware. He's aware of everything out there, but obviously aware that this is Kyron's first time at the semi-finals of the World Championship. 4 frames remaining of this session. Keep your man under pressure.
Yeah, he's knows that Kyron's not settled, but if that red went to the right corner, I'm very surprised he didn't play the pot. Well, the fact that Kyron's playing this, that black does go. Ooh, not quite. Not quite. And if that had gone in, it would have made John Higgins think a little bit. You know, don't go too much in your shell.
A little half chance here of getting in behind the yellow, but it's not a natural half ball, so he's going to have to put a little juice on this cue ball to widen the angle. I thought better of it. Percentage shot in behind green. Congestion down this half of the table.
And it's only the red on the right-hand side of the table that Kyron can hit. Now, normally you see a player just play the cue ball to the top cushion. That isn't an option with the red near the top cushion. So coming round off 2 cushions. I wouldn't think he's playing this with pace, just nestle in them, into the back of them. I was going to say played it well, and I was wondering if the bottom red would pop, but no, but I think he'll be behind the yellow next time.
Yeah, seeing the value there, John, and just hanging fire on that last shot. He's actually earned himself this chance. He's just caught the jaw, he's not got the in off.
Missed the chance though, and he'll be a little bit disappointed there. He didn't have Kyron in trouble. They're not billiard players though, are they?
No. Is Kyron going to gamble here? Pushing reds into the open. Let's see how thick he catches this. Played it very well. John Higgins actually has a shot to nothing. The only concern here in playing this, the natural Around a couple of cushions. I think the cue ball will be going quite close to the blue.
Yeah, that's the red that Alan's referring to.
Won't be surprised if he overcut this. Well, he got it thick and he's caught the blue.
The red he'll be looking at is the one that's closest to this right corner. There is one to the left corner, but it'd be hampered by the brown. Can he get into the cue ball enough and play a cannon from that red to the black? That's what he'd look at. That's the line he's looking at. He's on the black.
Yeah, another trademark crunch and long pot.
Yeah, just a glance over to John Higgins, apologetically. Or as our colleague Ken Doherty would have said, how do you like those apples?
It's the first real chance he's had in this match with what you would call a sort of genuine chance to win the frame. It's not a chance to win the frame, but the position, the kind of position that he's been scoring all tournament long. Against Mark Allen, he was outstanding, winning that middle session 7-1 and then wrapping it up with 2 frames from 11-5 in the final session.
16.
He scored very heavy.
Now he'd love to finish straight on the black here.
17.
Well, just a shake of the cue there. I don't know whether he thinks, but he looks absolutely perfect. Now, if he can pot this black and screw back and avoid the kiss on the red and play for the red just to the right of the black in the same pocket, which he could do, and now that clears the black for both corners. It was so important, particularly with the pink being in an awkward position, blue not on its spot.
24.
Good chance now.
$25. 32.
Another 34 points from here, and he gets to the snooker's required stage. It doesn't look
33.
too big an ask on the face of it.
$40.
Well, I'm going to take this opportunity to play for the pink. He needs to be very precise here.
41.
And he was. And that pink going back on its spot will certainly help the situation. Now he's got 2 high-value colours to play for. Just waiting to see if the pink goes to the left corner. Just asking the referee, and he's quite entitled to do it.
47.
Did you just respot the pink again? He just felt it was a bit tight. He's respotted it again, and now it clearly goes.
48.
You don't see that often, but as I say, the player's entitled to ask the referee.
Yes, absolutely. Just the very odd occasion a referee respots the ball, and the player might feel it's just one side of the cross, the white cross, the spot. But as we said before, be feeling a lot better, Kyron Wilson, having a frame on the board. Only high break of 35. And if he can
54.
polish off this frame in one visit, he'll really feel like he's in the match. And we're thinking, right, okay, now I've settled in.
55.
Well, he's going to have to play a little cannon here. They can go wrong. I'd rather have been the other side of the pink, in all honesty. He's nowhere near the yellow, but he's concerned about it. But got to adjust this cannon right. He hasn't really. It's awkward now. 62 points the lead, but still 75 remaining. He was only looking for another red in the
61.
colour. But that was all brought about because he didn't play position on the pink as good as he should.
Kyron Wilson, 61.
Yes, you called it, John. It wasn't that shot. It was a shot, a couple of shots previous, when he should have been the other side of the pink. Not a great chance just as yet for John. If he can knock this first red in, you fancy at least getting back in the frame. It's a difficult little shot, this, when you come to the table, and John will have been in his dressing room the whole time. And he's probably gone the best part of half an hour without really playing a positive shot. These aren't easy, the best of times. Oh, well played.
1.
Just okay. When you're having a bad day, he'd have nestled to the blue and been hampered for the brown, but he's okay. This cue ball needs to slow up. And it has. And just have a look. I'm not certain. I assume. Well, I know the black goes. Not certain about the red just above it. They're very close, so he could do with a nice angle on the black in potting it just to move that red into play.
6.
And that's not bad. I wouldn't say it's perfect. Everybody waits for the phone to be switched off. Well, you couldn't have played it better than that. That was a wonderful shot. And particularly when you're playing a soft stun like that, it's easy to decelerate.
13.
Miss it black.
Yes, that was a gorgeous shot. Now this, actually this next
14.
pink is the key shot. Nice and behind this next red, he can almost pick his spot for the high black that follows it. That'll do nicely. Nothing to do with the cue ball. Pretty much guaranteed a nice high black.
20.
Try and promote these two rogue reds. cards are actually sitting is quite nice. If he gets the optimum angle on this next black, it's cushion first. Push the first red into open play. Chance of being on both of them.
$21.
Now the question is, has he stunned through too far? What sort of an angle is this? I agreed with Alan. You'd like to come off the... Well, he can just do it. He can just do it. And he played it perfectly. He played it perfectly.
$28.
This shot is massive. If he lands straightish on this next black, providing this red goes in. Oh, and he hasn't.
29.
He concentrated so hard on the pot that he just took a couple of % concentration off his cue ball. He topped it in rather than stunned it. Now, round the houses with a black. Or is he playing to hold it? Is he playing a soft screw into the face of the pink? Yes, he is. Oh, that is a beautiful shot.
Yes,
36.
Tremendous cue ball control there. This red, any colour, and the 6 remaining colours for a real steal. Kyron Wilson was just 2 pots away from winning this frame. And just run out of position, a vital time. As I say, any colour, and the 6 remaining colours. I'm just looking at John's body language. Well, he's not good on this blue, he's very straight. And you wouldn't want to be pinching much in these middle pockets. He'd be screwing back for the yellow. But he's played it well. He needs to stop short of the cushion or little bounce. It's okay. Stop short of the cushion.
42.
It's into a slightly blind pocket, which makes the pink missable, but this will hurt Kyron if John can clear up here.
$44.
Odds on he'll clear up now, Alan. This will be a body blow.
Yes, the first huge moment of this match, you feel. And he's absolutely
47
on the brown.
Yeah, I always feel the key to any clearance is this shot from brown to blue. If he comes perfect on the blue, it's a formality.
51.
Not absolutely perfect on the blue. Having to come round off 2 cushions. But he's judged it well.
56.
Yeah, played it well, solid.
62.
And this is just what you expect from John Higgins. Points all level, this black. To steal the frame. Well played.
John Higgins, 69
well,
on the
there
frame.
you go. That sums up a frame of snooker, if you like. Kyron Wilson just played a loose positional shot on the pink, misjudged the cannon. John Higgins gets in. It's 4-1.
Well, we're running out of words, aren't we, to describe John Higgins, because it's just fantastic watching him in full flow, John.
Granite match player, absolutely granite, and he knows, he's experienced enough. He sees junctures in matches, which is so important, and he thinks, if I can just knock, you know, I can put a body blow in here, this is it. And as soon as he had that clearance, he played, it's funny actually, because he played a shot here, which slightly disagree with. This is one you had to stun slightly. He concentrated on the pot so much, he's played it with topspin, he's flicked the cannon and got the cannon there. But the recovery shot from here is absolutely a peach. He's hit this so well on that angle. To just play off the face of the pink, that was an excellent shot. And the blue afterwards was great as well, Ken.
Yeah,
And Alan in commentary loved it as well, didn't he?
Yeah, the blue to yellow was a key shot. You know, he came nice and straight on the blue, but, you know, typical John Higgins clearance there. You know, he's like the quintessential snooker player. He's got in every department. And, you know, when it comes to the crunch, just like he did against Judd Trump last night in the last frame, he's got, like, all the bottle in the world. And you know, if there's any player in the world that you'd want to make a reliable clearance like that, it would be John Higgins.
Yeah, I mean, he wins more frames, percentage-wise, on the circuit, I think, possibly Mark Selby, maybe, of frames he doesn't look like winning.
Like that?
Like that. Yeah. He wins as much as anybody. Probably only Mark Selby would do the same thing. He's an absolute master at it. His first match with Tepchire on New, he made 2 brilliant clearances in it. Could have been a different match. He's had a couple of clearances against Judd Trump, and he started again here in the final. It's just, honestly, it's a matter over the whole process of the tournament. Those frames add up, and that's why you end up in finals and winning things.
Absolutely right, and that's why he's still going strong. A joy to watch if you're a supporter of John Higgins. Maybe not so if you're a Kyron fan.
Yes, a piece of pure potting pilferage by the wizard in that last frame to go 4-1 in front. A massive blow. I say probably the first huge frame of the match. John Higgins is famous for those clearances. He's done it again. Just allow him the freedom in his mind to take this type of red on. Oh, bullied it in, muscled it in.
One.
He's not quite on the green. Yeah, can't be taking that on.
John Higgins 1.
Yeah, good pot, obviously. Wanted to... Probably if it had gone more in the centre of the pocket, it had just stayed this side of the baulk line, but once it didn't, of course. And he's got to be careful here as Kyron, because these loose reds on either side of the cluster. He'll probably be playing to come off 3 cushions here, I would have thought. But you just got to be careful. Yeah, and that was the problem. Has he left anything? If it's a tight pack, then invariably you can hit one and not leave anything. But there was a few loose reds that were always possibly going to be available. I think he's definitely got a game plan here, Alan, don't you?
Yeah, don't take any undue risks, basically. But you're right, John. There's no need for him to take risks. His safety game creates more chances than pretty much any other opponent, or any opponent he plays against. So why push the boat out? That old saying, make your opponent earn it. What it also does is you're telling your opponent, i.e. Kyron Wilson, I'm not going to give you any free chances. All right, I might make the odd mistake, but not a poor decision.
Foul. And a miss. Kyron Wilson 7.
It's funny, when I was looking at that line and I'm thinking, this looks a little bit wide to me. Now, Kyron, I mean, you could think, why doesn't he have it replaced? But he wouldn't expect John Higgins to make such a mess of the next attempt. But it could just be that where the cue ball was, the middle pocket's in the way of the natural two-cushion escape. But he's got eyes for a pot.
Yeah, Kyron has to be the aggressor. No. Well, at least he's covered it. But, or has he? Is there a gap between green and brown? Both players had a good look at it.
Well, I think I saw a wry smile there from Karen, but there isn't a gap, is there, between green and brown? Not according to that, but John seems to think there is.
Foul. Clip the green on the way through.
Clip the green. John. And amazingly enough, John didn't know. Let's have a look. Yeah, he just flicked the green, and that's of course why he hit the red too thin. But John looked, and the referee said, why? Because he shouted it before the cue ball went in.
Yeah. Great piece of refereeing by Paul Collier. He got himself. He got himself on the line of the shot so that he had the bird's eye view of it. Didn't make any difference then, apart from the 4 points, but yeah, good refereeing. Top man Paul is. So Kyron, after the disappointment of the previous frame, can he re-establish himself? He's played this lovely.
Five.
Two hours we've been playing, and it's been enthralling 5 frames. Here's a chance for Kyron though, after that mistake from John Higgins. He's got to make the most of these opportunities. And in a way that adds its own little bit of pressure, but he's not in the semi-final of the World Championship because he's been playing badly. He's cueing well, he's just got to remember that. And against Mark Allen and his previous round, Jamie Jones, he's been taking full advantage of opportunities like this. Good chance this.
13.
Another 49 points from this situation needed.
14.
Just having a quick glance as to where the pink would go when it's potted. I mean, he can play a run through for the black, but he'd like to have nice tight control of this cue ball. And the red, as you can see, just to the left of the cue ball will pot.
22.
Straight on the blue is not that advantageous, and he did play for the blue. There you see, just the wrong side of the line. He has the pink as an alternative, but it was blue he played for.
That tells you, you're looking to promote a few more reds. Tough shot, that pink, especially topping it through medicine time. But it's definitely the one area that Kyron Wilson would want to brush up on. His cue ball. It's not quite as tight as perhaps as
27.
A few of the other top players. A brilliant recovery, Potter, as we're probably about to see. again. He lost his
28.
cue ball a tad.
Can he land in the circle? Well, he's on the line of the circle, which tells me he's found the gap. Good shot.
35. $36.
Well, he's landed on this blue, and in a way, he's just having a look. Well, there may be a plant here. He's looking very interested. Plant to the left corner. Well, he's playing a deep screw, so he thinks it's on.
$41.
They're close enough together. You could hit the first one on the left-hand side, and it could push the other one to the right. Not a guarantee, this. No, but right in the heart of the pocket.
42.
And it's funny, you know, how many times you play those plants, and you always seem to underhit them, don't you, for your position. And he's not perfect on this pink.
Yeah, he's just undercooked it. Once again, recovery pot required, and positionally this is not easy at all. Yeah, this is no good. He's still on the red, but how does he get a decent angle on the
47.
colour to keep the break going? That's if and when he pots the red. So difficult to find a spot here where he can get into the pack.
Decides to go up for a ball colour.
48.
And he's on the brown. We always say, and we mean it as a compliment, he doesn't take it, but John Parrott was one of the best players I ever saw from under the cushion. Well, Kyron might be taking that mantle now in the modern day.
Yeah, that was a brilliant shot for a professional. There's a huge target, these reds. Fancy making contact with them.
Well, if he's on nothing, he's so unlucky, and the expression tells all.
52.
Yeah, there it is again. Perfectly executed, just unfortunate. And, well, you'd be thinking surely not a rerun of the last frame, where he made 61 and John produced a 69 clearance.
Yeah, once again, just redding the colour away from clinching the frame. Is it deja vu?
Kyron Wilson, 52.
Generous round of applause, but the disappointed Kyron goes back to his chair. What does the wizard have up his sizable sleeve this time? And he's got the cover in the long red, so that's a good start.
Well, It's trundling on. Not tight to the baulk cushion. There is a pot on here. I think if John felt he could play the pot and the only red he could leave was the one he was playing, he may take it on. There's lots of value if he could knock it in. But is it too risky? Because he knows if he leaves Kyron one more chance, then that will be frame over. But it looks as though he's got the angle, and I think he's going to go for it. And that was the problem. If he missed it, he was going to run into other reds, and Kyron's going to get his chance now. Red and a colour needed.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of shots that's not a typical John Higgins type shot. He obviously was forced into it by the scoreboard. He knows that playing a few safety shots, a couple of reds are liable to end up going safe, so had to take the red on now. Fully expect Kyron to knock this red in. He just has to pay this close attention. Any mistake at this stage would be punished, and will he be punished?
Well, more or less frame ball. Amazing. I know he was trying to find a path for the cue ball, but it's unforgivable to miss the pot.
One.
Yeah, sitting there thinking, looking to the heavens and saying, surely he's not going to do it again. This is probably even more difficult than the clearance in the last frame.
Needs to slow up, needs to slow up. He's overhit it as he held the black spot. Well,
Hey.
not quite, but he should have been better on this red. Got quite a few points to play with here. Nice kiss on the, well, he's missed the yellow. So he's nicely on the blue. If he kisses the yellow, then he might not have been that good. He's got points to play with. This blue will put him 48 points behind with still 59 remaining. Just not got complete control of the cue ball at the moment.
14.
It's hard work.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you see the points JV's referring to. Yeah, this is hard work. It's just the stress keeps building and building when you're on a clearance like this. No matter how good you are, you know, they keep go to the well, eventually it will run dry.
All kinds of extensions underneath. He just wants to get one that's comfortable and the right length. Played it nicely, but
15.
Well, it's not bad. It's a choice here. Could possibly be the pink to screw over to the right-hand side cushion. The black would be a bit more difficult. You'd have to maybe play the cannon, and the cannon you wouldn't necessarily develop the red if you can get enough to this pink. As I say, screw to the side cushion. Nicely played. Now, as long as he can reach over the table here, be quite comfortable with this. Although he did miss a red similar to this in a previous frame. He just hit the left-hand jaw as we look, and it didn't drop. So he won't have good memories of the shot. But no problem that time.
Yeah, how good has this been so far? He's played about 4 or 5 brilliant little shots. He's got another 3 or 4 he's going to have to play. No, the black's not there. 40 points the difference. Does the red pass the black? 22. I think it does. And Kyron Wilson is one of the best in the business with the rest. As I say, you keep going to the well, eventually it'll run dry. You keep leaving awkward, you'll miss eventually. Now, Kyron, as I say, he's superb with the rest normally. Likes to punch these in. Yeah. Good shot.
And I would suggest, Alan, a mighty relief Kyron Wilson, because this looked for all money as though it was going to be a repeat of the last frame.
Yeah. The score now 48 ahead. John Higgins won't be coming back.
8. Nine.
The black stays out, but John Higgins will stay in his
Wilson,
chair.
9 on the frame.
Not without a couple of scares along the way, but Kyron Wilson gets his second frame in the board in the semi-final, and he now trails 4 frames to 2.
Maybe, just maybe, John and Ken, in the tail of the semi-final, that could be a turning point.
It's very early. We saw John there, had a shot at John. He was just rubbing his eyes a little bit. I do think he's looking a little bit tired there from yesterday's exertions. Totally understandable. I said when I was interviewing Alan at the start in the com box, I thought if John got a 4-4 out of this, it'd be great. He's obviously got 2 bites of the cherry to go 5-3 or 6-2. But even if this ended 4-4 from John's point of view, I still think it'd be a good session.
Yeah, because he mentioned to Alan, didn't he, that he didn't get much sleep last night after that. And we speculated, didn't we, at the start of the programme as to whether he would be feeling tired.
As this session has gone on, he looks, you know, a little bit weary looking out there, and he was rubbing his eyes there. So maybe it is affecting him slightly, but still a chance that you wouldn't have expected him to miss that black off the spot. You know, that would have really hurt Kyron Wilson. I mean, he's just trying to drop the black in, trying to get close to that red on the left-hand side of the table. Overcut it, and chance was gone. But it could have been another fantastic clearance like the previous frame.
I think if he'd have been a little bit sharper, it would have been. I mean, he'd done brilliantly well up to there, and Kyron was sitting in his chair thinking, oh no, not again, here's another frame I'm going to get nicked off me. But in that case, it wasn't to be.
And John was potting those, wasn't he, in the opening couple of frames, and also last night as he closed out that match.
I think John would be happy, as JP said, like 4-all, but when you're 4-1 up,
please.
I think you'd like to get one of these frames on the board, John, just to have a little lead going into tomorrow's next session.
So John to break, 4-2 ahead of Kyron Wilson.
Yes, as we get underway in frame 7, I agree with the lads. John is definitely looking a little jaded out there. Not massively, but it was the way he missed that black, the cut back. It was a sort of a weak effort for him. Missed it by quite a long way. He's just kind of striving for the finish line in this session. If he can get out with a 5-3 lead, I think if you offered them that right now, he'd take it. Kyron. Yeah. That last frame, he's got to be the aggressor. That red is not easy, so just biding his time. Check this cue ball back up to the green pocket. Yeah, good shot. Good shot. another weak effort. Actually, that last shot Kyron Wilson played, refusing the aggressive red, was a real good ploy for me. He has to do his level best here to keep John at distance. He will have sensed that John's perhaps flagging. He'll have looked at his opponent when the players are sitting in the chair. You pick up all the information you can. He'll have glanced over, seen John rubbing his eyes, perhaps looking a little jaded. I say, keep him at distance.
I don't know whether he's had a look at the possibility of a 4-ball plant here, or the fact that he doesn't want to knock one over the corner. Maybe he thought it was a 4-ball plant, and at first glance he's been very lucky, and the hand up to apologise confirms that. Main concerns for John here is in playing the cue ball back to the baulk end. He doesn't leave that red near the corner pocket, and he's looking at possibility the red that's closest to the cue ball, if he could move that. But now he's thinking, well, I can't get a good safety. There's lots of reds covering that red over the corner, so maybe if I just get in the middle of the baulk cushion, he'll be safe enough. A little bit under hit. Oh, he'll be disappointed there. He's left it, a clear path to it.
Yeah, as I said, the black in the tail end of the last frame was weak. He played a weak safety a few shots ago, and that was same kind of thing. Now, heavy drag on this, kill the cue ball. Yeah, good shot. Drag, trying to get the cue ball to the red as quickly as possible so that it holds its line. A little drag shot. Now, this is not a sitter. Building himself up. Chip the red away from the black spot. Bound to be on one.
Played it positively. Now the red just to the left of the black, which he'd like to play on. Well, he's getting down pretty quick, so he must feel he's got room to manoeuvre. Probably stunned for the black in the same pocket as the red.
9.
Played it nicely. I think he's got a little bit of an angle on this black. Well, our director, as usual, the optimist. Well, he's played that very well.
16. 17.
3 reds. Third black coming up. Just under hit that slightly.
24.
He can hold for the black here, but to do that he'd have to play with a bit of right hand side, so he's going up for blue or baulk colour. He wants the frame, not bothered about the maximum.
25.
He'd like to play the blue, get the blue back on its own spot.
Yeah, we spoke at the top of the show, didn't we, about speculating how much, if anything, would that last evening's
30.
session take out of John Higgins coming in this afternoon. I think it's definitely taking a little bit of a toll right now. He wants to get out of there. Preferably 5-3 in front would be good. In contrast, Kyron Wilson at the minute looks full of verve,
31.
full of vim, looking positive, wide-eyed. There's John's eyes. Definitely feeling it at the minute. He'll be fine tomorrow. He'll get a good rest, but I say in contrast, Kyron Wilson looks super interested out there. Oh, he played that beautifully. Lovely piece of cueing.
38. $39.
That was one of his better positional shots in this session. Just about straight enough on the blue so he can hold, possibly for one of the two reds in the middle of the table. If not, one to the con. In actual fact, he's held it too well.
Sure.
That's why he's asking
44.
for the rest, the extended rest. So now, a little bit of work to do with the cue ball. If it had been straight on this red, it had been a formality. Just roll it in for the black, trying to hold it. And as I say, held it too well. Don't know if there's a gap where he can go between the reds for the blacks to the same pocket. Oh, there was, and he judged it nicely.
45. $52.
This
53.
black, two more reds, two more blacks would get him to snooker's required. Decides to play for one of those two reds into the right corner. Played it nicely.
60.
As I say, two reds, two blacks. John Higgins would need snookers. So John, in the back of his mind now, will be thinking about the last frame of this session. And he'll be putting all his efforts into that. Having led 3-0 and 4-1, he'll be disappointed if they're all square at the end of this first session.
$61.
Just to go 68 points in front, with still 75 remaining. So the black, and as it turns out, just one more red to clinch the frame. Red would put him 69 ahead.
68.
With just 67 remaining. Safely in.
69.
And this is highest break of the match so far. Good time to do it.
he struck that black is just a sign that he's
76.
He's really beginning to feel good out there now, Kyron Wilson. First 2 or 3 frames, a little bit shaky. Really does look like he's fancying it now. Striking it beautifully
77.
out there. Nice to see him go on and make the first century of this match.
$83. Tap. 84.
Yeah, great stuff this. The one thing you know about Kyron Wilson, he will never lack in the ticker department.
91.
He just looks all of a sudden bright-eyed and bushy-tailed out there. Everything going in the centre of the pocket.
92.
It's a mere formality now, the century. Can he make it a big one somewhere around the 140?
$98.
He's already had 4 centuries
99.
in this Betfred World Snooker Championship. This for number 5. Well played, and that's the 69th of the tournament. Turn up, we love that.
105.
And as you say, Alan, definite signs that he's feeling a lot better. And
106.
it just shows the way he's pushing the cue through now. And I remember early on, we were looking at his average shot time was up to 34 seconds. It's now at 27. I think it'll get quicker. He's not a slow player by any means. None of the young guns are.
113.
He's absolutely striping it at the minute. Kyron Wilson, this is a huge frame coming up. Last of the session. And now he's beginning to have fun, just brushing these last 6 colours in.
$122.
Yeah, it took him a few frames to get his bearings this morning. It's difficult to get adjusted to the one table situation at the Crucible. There's no hubbub, no noise from the other table, nothing else going on. It's all on you. And boy, you're starting to
133.
Really enjoy it out there. Wonderful 140. Kyron Wilson showing his true class in this semi-final now. A big frame coming up. And he's just one behind at 4 frames to 3.
Yes, Alan's absolutely right. A huge frame coming up. Do not go anywhere. Kyron Wilson's 48th century of the season, and what a break.
Fantastic, right from start to finish. Although, very unlike John Higgins to leave the shot that he left. I mean, when he plays this is not Higgins-like at all. He knows there's a red over the corner. The only thing you've got to do is make sure the cue ball goes to the right-hand side of the table that we're looking at it. And he does that, Ken.
And look at his reaction as well. He knew, didn't he, Ken?
Yeah, he was trying to get it behind the yellow and the blue, but also, even if he goes a little bit further, he has the reds that are going to block. And it was, again, a sign of his concentration is dropping, a sign of tiredness, and it's affected him. He wants out of there pretty quick. He'd like to get this frame to have a little lead, get back to the hotel, refresh, and then come back tomorrow, get a good night's sleep.
That's the thing, isn't it? He hasn't got a session tonight, so that's absolutely great for him. It'll all work out fine, and tomorrow he'll be as fresh as paint.
Yeah, just watching Kyron as well, just going around the table. Fair to say he's strutting around the table now. It's exactly what Ken was saying about getting some table time and taking advantage of any mistakes that John makes.
he's a pretty bright boy when things are going on, and he'll be just like we're sitting in here surmising what's going on. And he'll know, because he said there's a press conference the night when he beat Mark Allen. He said, Mark Allen, I could see he was struggling in the evening session. He said, and as soon as he did, he boom, pressed the accelerator, and away he went. He won that session 7-1. He's not daft. He'll be sitting there looking at John, seeing him rub his eyes and things, and seeing 1 or 2 shots go.
That's what the top players do, isn't it?
It's also he's shown a really good temperament, you know, because if he was struggling at 4-1, he'd missed a few easy ones and frame balls, and John had sort of pounced on him to take that 5th frame. Now he's got his hand on the table, he's got a bit of confidence, and, you know, it'll be hard to, you know, it's good to see that he's settled right into the game, and he's got a bit of confidence now.
Yeah, John's coming back out. Just before we go back out there, just a quick look ahead to Barry Hawkins, Mark Williams tonight. Set beautifully, isn't it, John?
Yeah, I think that's a really tough match to call. Really tough match. I thought Barry Hawkins was excellent against Dings Youngwee. Mark Williams is clever as a fox. You know what you're going to get with Mark Williams. Brilliant match player. But he's also hitting the ball beautifully well. He's won 3 tournaments this year, 1 smaller one, but 2 ranking events, and he's in great form, and he'll fancy the job again. It'd be brilliant for him. He may have thought at some point, I might not get back out 1 table again at the World Championships, but the way he's played this year, he deserves to be there.
And twice he's been the king of Crucible, as I described him at the top of the programme as well, and that helps, doesn't it, Ken, when you're in this stage of the tournament?
I was on the wrong end of one of those when he won here in 2003. Played superb. He's like John Higgins, you know, a great old master compared to some of the younger players, but full of experience, class player, got a great temperament, and I'm with John. It's very, very difficult to call that one as well.
That absolutely match on for the way that Barry completely dispatched yesterday of Ding.
Yeah, he played really well, and you know, Barry's record here at the World Championship is incredible.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, over the last 5 or 6 years, yeah. He loves the 1-table setup. You know, he loves the Crucible, and I think that's going to be a cracker.
Right, OK, I'm just being told that Kyron Wilson has got a nosebleed. Right, OK, so that's the reason why John has just popped out. So we're going to try and find out exactly what's going on very, very shortly, but that's quite unusual, isn't it?
On me. I mean, if you played Alex Higgins a year ago, somebody might have a nosebleed, but I haven't heard one for just no reason whatsoever.
Oh, we had the shoulder barge last week.
There you go.
Mind you, I saw Ronnie earlier. I said, how's the shoulder? He said, it's a bit sore, but, you know.
So, no, it's extremely unusual for that to happen, but, you know, one of those things will get sorted out. So
Yeah. Well, we can carry on talking about Mark Williams and Barry Hawkins as well, but something happens to Barry, doesn't it, when he comes here? Because he... as a runner-up here as well?
I've asked his pals as well, and I say to Joe Perry, a couple of lads who he's mate with, and I say to him, you know, Barry hasn't played particularly well before sort of January and everything, and all of a sudden he finds his form after Christmas. But there's a reason why he plays well here. It's because he's a top-class match player who plays the right shots all the time.
I was also talking to Steve, who's been working with Mark Williams as well, about just how he's turned that corner, because there was a time, wasn't there, when he was coming here, we weren't writing him off, but we weren't expecting him to get to the latter stages. And Steve says, you know, he's composed, he's just enjoying his snooker again.
He is, and he's very relaxed. I mean, you see him backstage, he's got his little boy with him, his wife was with him, Joe, as well. And he's very relaxed around the whole Crucible, and... you know, he's going to be hard to stop. I mean, obviously, using Steve Feeney as a coach and sight right, and, of course, Lee Walker in his corner, it's given him sort of a new dimension and a new sort of inspiration to his game. And it certainly worked this season, because he's only been working with Steve Feeney over the last season. So whatever he's done with him, he's certainly proving dividends at the moment.
Well, I know what he's done with him. He's found the middle of the white. That's exactly what he's done. I mean, I watched him practice today, and I'm so impressed with the way he's striking it. And obviously, whatever he's working with Steve and the sight right stuff, he's found the middle of the white, and he's hitting through the middle of it.
Absolutely right. He's got the whole of Wales behind him, that is for sure. So, Kyron Wilson's got a nosebleed. That's the latest news we bring you from the Crucible. First time ever I've said that on live television. So let's look ahead to Barry Hawkins against Mark Williams.
Best technique would have to be Ronnie O'Sullivan for me. His stance, his cue action, just everything about it is, you know, if he was a youngster growing up, that's what to strive for. That's a tough one. Break building has to be Ronnie O'Sullivan. I think everyone got to agree with that. He's on 900 odd century breaks, probably going to get to 1,000 in the next 12 to 18 months, and it's just, there's no better break builder than him. Best safety player, well, I've seen anyways, without doubt, is Ronnie O'Sullivan. I've never played Ray Raiden. He's supposed to have been unbelievable as well, but the best I've played without a doubt is Ronnie O'Sullivan. Temperament, I think, would be John Higgins. If it was ever a man who'd want to clear up and win on the black in a deciding frame, with all the pressure you can have and everything on the line, he'd be the one I'd want to clear up for me. Technically, it's the same kind of thing as safety, really. It's Ronnie O'Sullivan all day, puts you in positions, you know, you can't really get out of, and very difficult. He plays, his safety game is so good. He never comes off one cushion. He always uses 2 or 3 cushions with side all the time and just puts you in positions where, you know, you were knackered, basically.
And a lot of the other players talk about Mark Williams as well and the various aspects of his game as well. But bringing it back to our match, John Higgins against Kyron Wilson, so many of the players who've been interviewed are also talking about John Higgins and temperament.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's we saw that already this afternoon. We saw it, you know, last night, of course, when he needed to. I mean, you know, so far behind against Judd Trump, 11-9 down. Came back with some great clearances and great breaks. And yeah, I think if there's one player in the game that your life depended on it for it to make a clearance, he's the guy that you'd want to do it. And he's done it time and time again, and that's why he's been so successful as well.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Kyron's got himself sorted out. He's back in the arena and...
Yeah, he's still touching his nose. They're still not 100%, but there we are. He's back out. That's the main thing. Here we go again. Never said that before on live television. Match abandoned or postponed or delayed because of a nosebleed, Alan. Sorry about that, folks.
Yeah, it's unusual turn of events there, and a generous nice round of applause. Good to see Kyron.
Thank you. The final frame of the
as he
session.
come out,
Kyron Wilson to break.
We're all back to normal. As I said, 1 frame remaining of this session, and a big one it is, JV.
Yes, I think just psychologically early on in this match, if Kyron can come out of it all square, he'll have the edge. Brought out plenty of tissues just in case the nose. Like the Rocky film, innit? Got over the second, he went, "What do you think?" He said, "I've seen worse." But it's an unusual thing to happen. John missed the red, but he's okay. First luck, he's not left anything.
Yeah, just at the minute, as I said before, Kyron Wilson keep John Higgins at distance as much as he can, because you know, I'd never underestimate the great man, but he looks at the minute like he's only really going to score if he's left a good chance. It's a clever little ploy, even a little tempter. I was thinking more of the one down the left side of the table. Leave this one to the right. In normal circumstances, you'd really fancy John knocking this in. Got my doubts at the minute. Oh, what a shot. What a shot. And he's decent on the pink. Just off straight to the far corner. Big shot coming up. Can't refuse it.
Yeah, he always is in a position where he has to trust to look for position. Well, he's looking down at the baulk end. I agree with you. I think under normal circumstances he'd take this pink on, but he knows the importance of this final frame. Does he want to put all his eggs in one basket? And the answer is no. He's playing safe.
Yeah, the fact that he's playing safe tells you we're absolutely sure that he's feeling extremely tired. So perhaps it's a good decision. I suppose, you know, there's no hard and fast rule that says you have to take any shot on. You don't fancy it, don't play it. You don't feel you're going to pot it. Wait for something better. You cast your mind back to last night, the brown that John knocked in, that deciding frame. from just a couple inches off the baulk cushion. Under the most pressure you almost ever face. And to turn that pink down, huge surprise.
Just going through a little spell at the moment, John. I don't know whether he's just lost his timing slightly, but he's playing some very loose safety. And that was another one.
Yeah, weak again. Not something you say about him very often, but it definitely was.
But that was an excellent safety from Kyron. And John will have to find a good one in reply. Can't see a containing safety that you'd be guaranteed to not leave a pot on. Return to baulk difficult. This is his view. There's only those two reds on the right hand side of the table as he looks, left hand side as we look. Well, he's finished up rolling it in.
One.
Where did that one come from? Anyway, it's gone in.
Yeah, just as well it did go in. He was leaving plenty.
Black ball.
He wants to get the black into open play here, but I think the pink's the shot up behind yellow. Leave the black where it is. That might be an obstacle Kyron has to deal with this next shot. Oh, up behind yellow somewhere.
Yeah, and there's a classic
Higgins
example,
won.
isn't it? I mean, under normal circumstances, like we said about the pink in the top pocket, he'd have thought immediately bring the black into play, but then he's thinking, well, hang on, I'm not feeling that good, and I don't really want it to be that open a frame. Stopped himself, changed his mind, and I agree with you. Correct decision.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, just left a little gap here. Still a tough shot, though. Oh, he's played this well. Yeah, played as well as he could have. Full ball cannon on the brown, though. And John, not the tallest of players. If he's going to get this hand on the table here, it'll be his little extension. There it is, underneath the table. And the way he played, I mean, he drifted in an unbelievable red a few shots ago. I think we'll see the same thing here. But once again, he's leaving plenty should he miss this. Stretching. Not easy. Oh, he's got it. Great shot.
One.
Now I'll be hoping, after potting the pink, as we watch this full stretch, so he had to stay still on it. Just wonder when the pink's on its spot, where it's going to be available. But most importantly, John has got the first chance in this frame. Well, it's not too well situated. You're now wishing I should have brought the black into play. I don't think he'll risk it here, will it? No, just concentrating going up for the blue.
8.
But just a bit short of pace. But he can roll the blue in, and there's a red that's close to the left corner that he would fancy potting and getting back up for the blue. The only thing he's got to be a little bit wary of here, he'll be stunning round off two cushions, just so doesn't want to collide
14.
with that red that's in the middle of the table, the one that's above the pink and to the right of it. Got to avoid a kiss on that red. It's the only thing that could spoil position for the blue. took that out of the equation by playing it like that, but he was never going to get good position going down that line. Wanted to get more into the cue ball. Couldn't get on the blue coming off 2 cushions for me. Not, as I say, on that line. So there's a bit of pressure on this. Helps, he doesn't need the rest.
John Higgins, 14.
As Ken said in the studio, while we're waiting for Kyron to come back, I think John Higgins will be happy when this session's over.
Sure. 1.
As I've said before, this World Championship, the length of it, the length of the match is an assault course of the senses. John is really finding the going tough, and that's a nice little kiss for Kyron Wilson. And that sparkling 140 in the last frame. He's in good stroke at the minute. And this is a decent chance to draw level and perhaps have the overnight momentum.
7.
Yeah, parity now in the pot success. Total points, Kyron Wilson now just 1 in front. And we'll give you the ball spotted. 1 behind.
12.
But not for long. Possible chance here. There's a red just below the pink. If he could get nicely on that, then he could play for the pink and get the pink into play. Well, that's what he played for, but he's underhit it. Once again, as you observed
18
before, Alan, the cue ball, not as we say on the string.
Yeah, that was an awful shot, quite frankly. He's at least 6 or 8 inches shy of pace. That was a stinker, and just at the crucial moment, well, he's all right providing he pots this red. I've already said how good he is with the rest. This red to right corner is pretty much guaranteed decent on the pink. Well, playing the other one, quite know why. I say the red directly below the pink, cut that in, little soft screw, guaranteed pink to right middle. This is not guaranteed. No, and he's on it. He's absolutely
19.
perfect on it.
Well, there's a couple of times in the last few frames where he's could have finished on nothing. I mean, look at all the kisses he gets here. How many reds has he cannoned? And that red cannoned the other one out of the way so he could get it into the middle. Amazing.
Cast your mind back, though, to the John Higgins refusal on the pink to the yellow pocket.
25.
Doesn't make many wrong decisions, but I think that was one of them. In normal circumstances, John Higgins would knock that in, well, at least 9 out of 10.
Yeah, as you say, it was his decision, but he did get in after that, so it was his mistake that left Kyron this chance, and it looks like, as he did in the last frame, he's going to take full advantage. Just got to keep reasonable control of the cue ball. You feel that that's the only thing that can go wrong.
31.
He's got a 15-point lead now.
This shot he's playing here tells you that he's good with the rest. An absolute 1,000,000% red in the middle. He's fantastic with the rest, this fella.
32.
I know he didn't have a lot to do with the cue ball there, but just the fact he had a unmissable red in the middle, didn't even flinch. So, pink puts him 22 in front, 3 reds, 3 colours, and we'll be back all square.
38.
Yeah, and after John Higgins, as I said earlier, led 3-0, 4-1, it's Kyron who will have the psychological edge
39.
after this first session, if he does what's required here. Red, pink,
44.
red is what's required. Oh, well. I don't believe it.
Kyron Wilson,
He can't
44.
believe it. Has he covered it? Lucky boy.
Okay, settle down, please.
I do not understand that at all. I mean, it was just automatic to be on the pink, and that is the shock to the system that this game can give you. Can he get a snooker here behind the black? Is it possible? That's what he's tried. Red twice across. Didn't really get as close to the black as he maybe would like, and well, if Kyron feels as though he could play the pot here, I mean, I think he'll have to play a thin coat of one of these reds. I don't think he can get to the left-hand edge of the red that's closest to the pocket to play safe off it. And I don't think it's cuttable.
It was actually quite a streetwise shot by John there. As you're right to say, he's trying to nestle in behind the black, but he couldn't risk the cue ball in bulk, not with Kyron Wilson's long game. Kyron playing this, has to catch this very thin. The cue ball just missed the blue in the low side. Yeah, difficult to get that thin enough, and he's caught the jaw. Chance John Higgins.
Well, no, I'm not being wise after the event, but I couldn't see how he could come off that red. I mean, I'd have overcut it and gone down near the yellow pocket and play that. But here's a chance for John. Can he build up now for one last effort?
One.
He pots this pink, he goes 21 points behind. So I'm just trying to work it out. 21 points behind. These 2 reds, 2 pinks, and he won't need the black.
7.
He can win this frame without the black.
Eight.
Well, he's overscrewed for the pink.
Well, in a funny sort of way, this might even work in his favour, because he's dropping this dead weight, I think, in a rover. And if he gets the pot, he's guaranteed being on the red. And he's got it. He's got it, and he's nice on the red, or as nice as you can be. Big shot coming up. This is the biggest shot of this
14.
semi-final so far.
Yes, and I think with this shot, you've got to fully commit. You can't afford to play it with too much pace. You've got to fully commit to knock this in. It's gone in.
15.
Needs to slow up. I think he's just all right. I think he's just got enough angle on this blue.
Yeah, deep screw with side so that he can't snooker himself in the brown. That is a brilliant shot. Absolutely brilliant.
Glance at the scoreboard. 8 points behind. Up to and including the pink for 5-3.
$22.
How many times does this guy drag these clearances out from his bootstraps? Just overcooked the screw
25.
shot. Probably get it with his little extension.
Yeah, this is what happens on these super fine cloths. You're under a little bit of pressure. Kyron hoping that using the rest may cause John a problem. But no. Now how's he going to finish on the blue? He's too far for the middle. So he's got 29. A blue into the far right corner. He'll settle for this because it looks like a natural angle in potting it. You'd stun down for the pink. And blue and pink would really hurt his opponent. And give him a 2-frame advantage 34. After this very intriguing first session. Shake of the head to his supporters, Kyron Wilson, thinking, how have I lost this frame? Because you missed an easy red, son. That's why. Pink for the frame. In it goes. And I would say overall, Alan, that was a fair reflection of what we've seen.
Absolutely, a brilliant session. John Higgins leaves the arena 5-3 in front.
Brutal assessment from John Virgo, but he's absolutely right. Kyron Wilson, I was just watching him, John and Ken. I was watching him as John stole that frame, and he's still banging his thigh.
Yeah, well, he's missed a sitter there, and it's just one lapse in concentration. But that's why this man is 4 times champion of the world. It's a session there that was going a little bit wrong. He was tired. You could see it near the end. He's found something from somewhere, and those 2 clearances, that's the difference in the scoreline. Yeah. You know, he's 5-3 up instead of 5-3 behind.
Yeah. Kyron's going to be kicking himself, isn't he?
Courtail, yeah, kicking himself there. He knows he's let it slip. It was a great opportunity. John Courtail, the sort of comeback, and you can see how quick he wants to get into that dressing room. And here's the red. I mean, he's tried to stun it, tried to pinch a little bit of the pocket to try and get an angle, but you can't be missing them. If you miss them, you're bound to, well, you feel like you should lose the frame, and that's exactly what happened. But still a great clearance.
Oh, it's brilliant. But, you know, John Higgins is sitting there, a bit deflated, thinking, oh, well, I was 4-1 up, it's going to be 4. And all of a sudden, that one shot gave him a little bit of burst left just to go in and make the clearance. And it's a fantastic result for John Higgins. I said today, because of last night and what happened, 4-4 would have been great. He's had an absolute bonus of 5-3.
Yeah. And the most important thing now for John, it's a bit of rest as well, because you were worried that he might have been feeling a bit burned out.
Well, you saw how quick he wanted to get back to that dressing room, get his cue and his case, get back to the hotel, have something to eat, and get a good rest, get a good night's sleep, because he's back on in the morning. 2 sessions tomorrow. So tomorrow night he'll start to feel a little bit wary again, but I think tomorrow he should be okay after a good night's sleep tonight.
Yeah, let's just take a look at the match stats as well then, John. You know, it's beautifully set up for 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. We're live on BBC Two.
Absolutely, and then Kyron's made the 140 break. It was a little bit of a struggle for him early on. He didn't really score. I mean, the first 4 frames, his highest break was 35. But since then, you know, he'd had 52, 140 and a 64, I think it is, or whatever it is. But he sort of took a while to get into it, and then you could see John Higgins was slightly weakening, came back into the match, but the last one was a right Brucey bonus for John.
Yeah, yeah. Kyron, no doubt, will look at that break of 140. Classy break.
Yeah.
And if when he's looking back and reviewing over dinner tonight, he'll say to himself, you know, I'm still very much in this.
Of course, yeah. It's early days, first session. He's only 2 behind. comes out and wins the next session, and then back to all square. But yeah, I think, you know, getting a nice century break, and particularly the way he started, he was a little bit sort of like a rabbit in the headlights, a little bit nervous because this is a new situation for him, don't forget. But he came back very strongly. He's got a great temperament, and I think there's going to be some fireworks to come, don't worry.
So, John, you're back with me tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning. Look forward to that. Just quickly tonight, Mark Williams, Barry Hawkins. Are we expecting a blistering start from Hawkins tonight?
I'm expecting a good start from both players. I'm expecting it to be very, very close throughout the whole match. As we said earlier, we can't call a winner. I think both matches will go to the final session without doubt.
Yeah, and you know, Hawkins has never beaten Williams.
Yeah, they've not really played in any extended matches. I think the longest game they've played is a best of 11 at the Masters one year, so they've never played over a distance of ground. So they've never played the Crucible before, not played in the UK. So this is another interesting facet in the match. You know, who's going to last for that over that number of frames? And Hawkins is playing fantastically well, but he's up against a very clever old fox.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. He's so composed, is Barry.
Yeah, we've got 2 left-handers in one semi-final, 2 right-handers. We've got to have a right-hander and a left-hander in the final. Fascinating. Yeah, but Barry Hawkins, like Mark Williams, got every facet of his game is top quality. It's going to be a classic.
OK, well, we're looking forward to this. And don't forget that Hazel will be with you this evening, 7 o'clock on BBC 2. We look forward to this. Don't forget, you can carry on watching as well on the BBC Sport website and BBC Sport app if you are out at about 7 o'clock tonight. Barry Hawkins, Mark Williams with Hazel. My thanks to John and Ken. Really enjoyed it. See you bright and early, 10 o'clock in the morning. You
I'll be there
as well.
Don't worry about that. I'm very much a morning person.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, Hazel tonight, 7 o'clock, live from the Crucible. See you then. Bye for now.
The Gunners, the Blues, the final. The Women's FA Cup final.